Chapter 1271. Can't be pulled in. The Time Lord, at the peak of the 13th rank, has reached a stage where time beings begin to consolidate their timeline, striving to unify the past, present, and future, in order to advance to a higher level. In the first origin world, among the 6 ancestors of the ancient country, even the strongest Defu ancestor is far from reaching the Time Lord. However, as Lin Yuan observes and comprehends the rune Tao passed down by the Lord of Heaven Light, its description of the essence of runes far exceeds any 13th rank legacy Lin Yuan has ever seen. This leads to the speculation that the Lord of Heaven Light might be a Time Lord. Perhaps it is just a powerful time being. Lin Yuan steadied himself. He is still at a much lower level, not even reaching the 13th rank, and cannot judge whether the Lord of Heaven Light is actually a Time Lord. These rune Tao legacies are very helpful to me. Lin Yuan spent several days comprehending many of the legacies within the statue, especially related to the rune Tao, and a smile appeared on his face. Particularly the rune legacies from various eternal lords, which provided Lin Yuan with a clear view of the essence of the rune Tao path. The Lord of Heaven Light's ultimate pursuit of the rune Tao is omnipotence. Other eternal lords also have their pursuits regarding the rune Tao, allowing Lin Yuan to vaguely sense the methods of each eternal lord. It's still too little. Lin Yuan looked at the statue in front of him, feeling somewhat unsatisfied. The legacies passed down by the eternal lords are so precious that even Li Hong at the pinnacle of the second realm only obtained a part, and as for more, there were none. Continue to explore other sect relics. Lin Yuan's thoughts gathered, believing that the direction he chose is correct. In the short term, before fully developing the infinite constant sand world, he would not easily approach the center of the world or have any contact with the demon god. But the various legacies left by the eternal lords can be found within the many sect relics. Even if not complete, they are enough for Lin Yuan. A Supreme Saint sect level force should have more eternal lord legacies. Lin Yuan thought to himself, those capable of establishing a Supreme Saint sect are all at the third realm of Xiaoyao. Such powerful beings generally have many ties with the eternal sect. Attempting to cross into the third realm of Xiaoyao alone is too difficult. With connections to the eternal sect, naturally, there are many legacies regarding the eternal lords left behind. Even for a Supreme Saint sect level force, if targeted by a source demon, it would struggle to retreat fully. Lin Yuan silently thought, through Li Hong, he was well aware of the power of the source demon, equivalent to the abyss dragon. Without going through 1,000 years of cultivation, even Lin Yuan did not have full confidence to slay it. First Origin World. Capital of the Fierce Sun Kingdom, Galaxy Royal Mansion. Meng Shi and several disciples taken in by Lin Yuan came to seek an audience as usual. This was also the rule set by Lin Yuan. Every so often, the disciples could ask about their confusions regarding cultivation in the martial Tao. Master! Meng Shi and the disciples were very respectful, looking at the young man sitting cross-legged. Runes intertwined and collided, vaguely sketching a vast world. However, the level of the runes was too high for Meng Shi and the others to discern the whole picture. Even if they couldn't understand or fully see, the disciples felt that each rune contained infinite mysteries, seeming like part of the essence of heaven and earth. The runes in front of Master, even a single one gives me a feeling that surpasses those peak venerables. What exactly are these runes? Meng Shi and the disciples were shocked. They could sense that each rune was casually condensed by Lin Yuan. Thousands of runes continuously interweaving and colliding. It is said that Master is currently the unquestioned strongest among the 6 ancient countries. Even the 6 ancestors look upon him with new eyes and give him great importance. Being able to become a disciple under Master is a tremendous fortune. Meng Shi and the disciples thought to themselves. As they spent more time under Lin Yuan, they became more aware of the weight carried by the title Galaxy Venerate, a status that even the ancestors would respectfully accommodate. In the 6 ancient countries, the ancestors are the supreme beings. Since the founding of the Defu ancient country, no heavenly venerate has ever warranted such respect from the ancestors. Even the 2nd and 3rd ancestors in the heavenly venerate level failed to attract the attention of Defu ancestor. At that time in the Thousand Fong domain, I was worried I would implicate Master, fearing master couldn't withstand the Thousand-Teeth King's retaliation. Meng Shi thought, now it seems, what is the trivial Thousand Fang domain to master? Even the emperor of Deling ancient country must bow in respect before master. State any doubts you have in your cultivation. Lin Yuan dispelled the runes in front of him and looked at his disciples. These disciples were selected by Lin Yuan as the most suitable for martial cultivation, with the highest potential for the martial Tao across the 6 ancient countries. In the future, after Lin Yuan enters the 13th rank and establishes the 7th ancient country, these disciples will handle many affairs, so he regularly guides them. This is the representative face of martial cultivators for a long time to come, so Lin Yuan naturally needs to cultivate them well. Master, time is like flowing water, but how does it flow, and to where does it head? Meng Shi was the first to speak. Being a being with time talent in martial arts, Lin Yuan thought highly of Meng Shi. Such talent is on par with those time-blooded miraculous beings in the Chaos Void. Upon reaching the 12th level of perfection, one can vaguely perceive many potential scenes of the future. Time. Lin Yuan pondered for a while, his thoughts moved slightly, and a rune gathered and emerged. This rune is the time symbol from the second source world, infinitely complex, yet after complete condensation, it flows like a winding river of time. The rune Tao of the second source world replicates everything in existence, including the rules within its scope. Meng Shi stared at the rune before Lin Yuan, feeling as if this rune were alive. He truly witnessed the vast Tao of time. Thank you, Master, for your guidance. Meng Shi watched with fascination for a while and solemnly bowed to Lin Yuan. To hear the Tao in the morning and die in the evening is acceptable. Moreover, he has now seen the Tao rather than merely hearing it. Lin Yuan effortlessly conjures the rune of time, which is the great Tao in his heart. Other disciples were also observing that time rune, and even though they hadn't embarked on the path of time, witnessing such an essence-revealing rune was immensely beneficial for them. Master, Quickly, the second and third disciples stepped forward. Lin Yuan answered their queries one by one, and ultimately condensed the corresponding runes. The rune inheritance of the second source world, its replication of the Tao of rules, is truly unbelievable, drastically lowering the threshold for cultivation. Especially the runes condensed by Lin Yuan eloquently expressed the essence of the rules. Second source world. Lin Yuan's Taiyang divine spirit swiftly passed towards a direction. I have already subdued 36 great demons, having sent all manifestations to the main body. Regarding the sect's influence ruins, one Saint Sect level ruin has been discovered, though it pales compared to the Li Hong Saint Sect, offering little aid to me. Lin Yuan thought while glancing further afield. Now, let's begin exploring even further. This Fang Yuan world is vast and boundless. According to Qingyun's Saint Sect's map, Lin Yuan's current position is analogous to the corner near the edge of this heaven and earth. Actually, the demonic calamity of this Fang Yuan world benefits me more than it harms. At least it doesn't draw the attention of the eternal lords. Lin Yuan mused. Absent the influence of demonic calamities, it can be foreseen that with Lin Yuan's continuous growth and gathering of rune inheritance, he would inevitably draw the eyes of eternal sects and even eternal lords. The eternal lords, as beings of time, can observe many future timelines, but within this Fang Yuan world, considering the presence of beings like the Lord of Heaven Light, are unlikely to befriend Lin Yuan with full force like the ancestors of the 6 ancient countries. The ancestors of the 6 ancient countries adopted such an approach because they envisioned the inevitability of Lin Yuan's future timeline. But the Lord of Heaven Light? If this time being truly is a Time Lord, observing enough timelines far enough, might see the timeline where Lin Yuan cannot cross into the 13th layer, thus potentially intervening in the layout of his path. Of course, this is merely a possibility. Yet it's Lin Yuan's concern. Until he crosses into the 13th layer, Lin Yuan is reluctant to interact with overly powerful time beings. Is that? Just then, Lin Yuan suddenly stopped, looking towards a valley below, lifting his brow slightly. He faintly sensed rune fluctuations within the valley. Another sect ruin? Lin Yuan felt a glimmer of joy. Ruins of sect influences are akin to free gift bags for him, and even the weakest sect is beneficial, though the aid might be limited. Let's take a look. Lin Yuan did not enter the valley but approached to examine carefully. However, as Lin Yuan approached within a certain range of the valley, runes instantly covered the surroundings, and a golden figure with cold eyes condensed at the height of the valley. This, Lin Yuan appeared wary. The runes surrounding him gave a feeling that far exceeded the rune inheritance left by Li Hong. This valley's sect ruin at least reached the Supreme Saint sect level. Since you have arrived, you are a cultivator. The trial begins. This sect's inheritance is unique, requiring trial completion before comprehending. The golden figure with cold eyes at the valley height looked down upon Lin Yuan, speaking in a calm tone. Enter. Having finished, the golden figure waved a hand, preparing to teleport Lin Yuan into the trial space. Buzz. An invisible ripple enveloped Lin Yuan, intending to draw him into a certain space. The golden figure was slightly taken aback, realizing it couldn't move Lin Yuan at all. Chapter 1272. Testing me? Can't be pulled? The golden figure paused slightly. This place's ruins have an unimaginably large origin. Even a peak expert of the third realm cannot resist. They would be forcibly dragged into the trial space. But Lin Yuan? The golden figure closely observed Lin Yuan. Although unaware of this young man's methods, his life aura fluctuated. It was only at the normal level of the third realm. Yet he easily blocked the figure's forceful pull. Is his comprehension of space-time very deep? The golden figure thought secretly. The essence of his forceful drag was to borrow the space-time rule. If the opponent is also proficient in the space-time rule, it's understandable that he couldn't do anything. However, to reach the level that the golden figure couldn't handle due to space-time rule comprehension is extremely rare. Not many of the strongest inheritors among all eternal sects, called eternal sons, have such comprehension. In this world, countless cultivators comprehend rules through the rune Dao, which certainly lowers the threshold but doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The difficulty of comprehending space-time rules becomes harder the deeper you go. I estimate he has almost transcended the space-time rules themselves. The golden figure judged internally. So-called transcending the space-time rules itself means half a foot out of the ninth realm. Only then could he return without success. Didn't expect to encounter a treasure this time. The golden figure thought. The stronger the tester, the higher the comprehension of the rules, the more hopeful they are to pass the trial. And his existence's meaning is to cultivate a tester who can pass all the trials. It seems now that Lin Yuan has a faint hope of passing all the tests. Almost got dragged away. Lin Yuan was also shocked internally. The runes spread across the world operated simultaneously. If not for his comprehension of the spatio-temporal fusion rule nearing its limit, he would have been forcibly transferred. Currently, only the Taiyang divine spirit of Lin Yuan appears here, and many methods cannot be deployed. Since the true self needs to open up the infinite constant sand particle world, all resources are prioritized for the true self. Thus, the strength of the Taiyang divine spirit is at the level of the strongest venerable, invincible great saint, equivalent to the third realm of this world. The Taiyang divine spirit lacks the Tai-Yin. Chaos Taiji Dao has its limitations. If the Taiyang divine spirit and Tai-Yin primordial spirit merge into the Taiji primordial spirit, even if it's still not as powerful as the true self, it would also surpass the strongest venerable, invincible great saint, comparable to entities like the Abyss Dragon. Little one, don't worry, I mean no harm, the golden figure said softly, treating a tester like Lin Yuan, who has a faint hope, with great patience. Where do you want to send me? Lin Yuan asked directly. Previously discovered numerous sect relics have never encountered such a situation. Forcibly moving himself to an unknown space where risks and details are unknown. Naturally, Lin Yuan was unwilling. It's a trial space. As long as you pass the trial space, you can obtain the ultimate inheritance. The golden figure showed no impatience. Trial space. Lin Yuan understood. The runes around this valley obviously come from cultivators, for which Lin Yuan was already prepared. Which holy sect's trial space is this? Lin Yuan inquired. Not to mention others, Just the rune means that almost forced him to be moved far exceeded those of Qingyun Saint Sect and Lihong Saint Sect. Lin Yuan speculated it must be the handiwork of some supreme saint sect. Which holy sect? The golden figure glanced more at Lin Yuan and shook his head. This is not a holy sect's trial space. Not a holy sect's trial space? A hint of doubt flashed across Lin Yuan's face. If it's not a holy sect's trial space, then whose trial space is it? The creator of this trial space is the great master of Wushan. The golden figure said. Master of Wushan? Lin Yuan's heart leaped. The master of Wushan is the eternal lord of this Feng Yuan world, which is a 13th level time existence. Information Lin Yuan acquired reveals that the master of Wushan is very mysterious. He did not establish an eternal sect, acting alone, entering the 13th tier by the way of painting. The paintings of the master of Wushan contain infinite mysteries, said to be paintings but are more so complete worlds. In the pursuit of the master of Wushan, he wishes to paint a great painting comparable to this Feng Yuan world. Is this trial space opened by the master of Wushan? Lin Yuan looked at the golden figure and couldn't help but ask. Isn't that obvious? The golden figure replied seriously. Why did the master of Wushan open this trial space? Lin Yuan didn't have much doubt. The eternal lords of this Feng Yuan world have immeasurable influence. No strong person dares to impersonate an eternal lord. The master of Wushan had some forethought before the magical disaster's arrival, realizing this world would fall into eternal oblivion. So he opened numerous trial spaces in advance to cultivate testers strong enough after the magical disaster's arrival. The master of Wushan hopes to cultivate a new eternal lord to cleanse the magical disaster. The golden figure said. He originally didn't need to inform the tester of this information, but now, if he doesn't clarify, the young man in front of him would probably not enter the trial space. I see. Lin Yuan's expression was thoughtful. The Eternal Lord can observe future timelines. The magical disaster's arrival is a sudden calamity for those below the 13th tier, but in the eyes of time existences, it should have long been seen. Initially, Lin Yuan was curious as to why no 13th tier intervened when the magical disaster was rampant. Now it seems the eternal lords of this Feng Yuan world had long been quietly arranging matters in advance. Chapter 1273. Testing me? For example, this magical trial space. Is the master of Wushan held back by the demon god? Lin Yuan asked the question that puzzled his heart. Compared to nurturing a new eternal lord to sweep away the demon calamity, it would certainly be simpler and easier for a 13th stage time being to take action directly. The eternal lord is not so easily cultivated. It can even be said that the eternal lord cannot be cultivated. Among the 6 ancestors of the first Feng Yuan world, all 5 ancestors after Defu ancestor had not received special training from their predecessors before stepping into the 13th stage. The master of Wushan wants to cultivate a new eternal lord through the trial space, but the hope is very slim. Therefore, Lin Yuan speculated that the master of Wushan could not be free, and the last possible thing to hold him back could only be the demon god. Demon god? The golden figure shook his head. Though powerful, the demon god cannot hold back the great master of Wushan. Not the demon god? Lin Yuan became even more surprised. Then who? I do not know either. The golden figure replied. The demon god is not the source of the demon calamity. All right, I've said all I can say. This trial space was crafted with painstaking care by the master of Wushan, and the ultimate inheritance contained within elaborates on the essence of the rune Tao. The golden figure looked at Lin Yuan and said, with your understanding of space-time mastery, you still have a faint hope of passing. Even if you don't pass, you can gain part of the inheritance, which will greatly benefit you. Now tell me, do you want to enter the trial space? The golden figure asked. The trial space of the Eternal Lord. Lin Yuan pondered for a moment, then asked, is there any danger? If there was danger, Lin Yuan planned to come back after reaching the peak of his cultivation. After all, the trial space was here, and it wasn't going anywhere. Lin Yuan could attempt it any time. Danger! The golden figure sighed. After witnessing the demon calamity massacre countless cultivators, the master of Wushan would not set up dangers within the trial space. If you find the trial insurmountable, I will bring you out without any danger, the golden figure said with emotion. If not for the high threshold of the master of Wushan's inheritance, which could cause irreparable impact if unqualified cultivators forced comprehension, there might not even be a trial. For beings like the master of Wushan, spreading his inheritance without any trials would be filled with ill intent. Setting up a trial is an act of mercy. It prevents cultivators unsuitable for the inheritance from suffering irreparable losses. Then I am willing. Lin Yuan nodded immediately. The master of Wushan is a 13th stage time being, so how could Lin Yuan not desire his inheritance? Moreover, with no danger? Isn't that like being given for free? How could Lin Yuan refuse? All right. The golden figure looked at Lin Yuan and said, "Do not resist next." Okay. Lin Yuan nodded. Buzz, runes echoed around. A space-time fluctuation engulfed Lin Yuan, instantly pulling him into a mysterious space. Where is this place? Lin Yuan looked around. This is a vast world. Lin Yuan's eyes caught those 3 giant paintings hanging at the center. These 3 giant paintings consisted of a youth in golden armor, exuding a terrifying aura that transmitted even across the enormous canvas. Next was a charming lady wearing nearly transparent gauze, her lips slightly upturned, invisible spiritual power. No ordinary strong practitioner in the 3rd realm dared gaze long, risking ensnarement. The last giant painting depicted a man in white. Compared to the previous paintings, he exuded no aura. Yet Lin Yuan felt the greatest threat from him. The powerful figures in these 3 paintings are each no less than the Abyss Dragon. Lin Yuan's expression grew a bit more solemn, he thought silently. Especially the man in white in the last giant painting, who seemed to surpass even the Abyss Dragon. These 3 giant paintings were drawn by the great master of Wushan. At that moment, the golden figure appeared beside Lin Yuan, also looking into the distance at the 3 giant paintings. The paintings of the master of Wushan are all real, and the powerful figures in these 3 giant paintings are real too, capable of stepping out of the canvases. The golden figure stated, each figure excelled in different aspects, drawn specifically by the master of Wushan for future challengers. As long as you can pass the obstruction of the 3 giant paintings to enter there. The golden figure pointed towards the central area of the world. There, a small door stood faintly. You will have passed the trial. It is about overcoming obstacles, not defeating them, the golden figure said, then glanced at Lin Yuan. With your strength, it's difficult to directly bypass the obstruction from the powerful figures in the 3 giant paintings. My advice is to focus on enhancing your mastery of the spatio-temporal fusion rule. Once you completely transcend the spatio-temporal fusion rule, you'll pass the trial with ease. The golden figure's tone was calm. By completely transcending the space-time rule, oneself becomes space-time. A single thought can appear outside the small door at the world's center, making it impossible for the powerful figures in the giant paintings to obstruct you, let alone touch you. This is the reason the golden figure believed Lin Yuan had a slight hope of passing the trial. This so-called slight hope depended on Lin Yuan's ability to completely transcend the spatio-temporal fusion rule. If he could transcend it, he could pass the trial. If he couldn't transcend it, he wouldn't pass. Though Lin Yuan's understanding of the spatio-temporal fusion rule was close to transcendence, it was not yet the same as complete transcendence. Completely transcending the spatio-temporal fusion rule seemed a dim hope. But at least it was far higher than those whose understanding of spacetime still hovered at the 9th realm in the 3rd realm cultivator community. Completely transcend the spatio-temporal fusion rule? Lin Yuan slightly furrowed his brows. Even the Chaos Void's strongest state, His Majesty Shen Huang, had only half a foot beyond the spatio-temporal fusion rule. As for complete transcendence, Lin Yuan had confidence but didn't know how long it would take. 5,000 years? 10,000 years? Observing the operation of the origin source of the first Feng Yuan world had allowed Lin Yuan to make rapid progress in understanding the spatio-temporal fusion rule, but complete transcendence remained arduous. Take it slowly, you have all the time in the world, billions, trillions of years, the trial has no limits. The golden figure stated. Normally, to break through the obstruction of the powerful figures in the three giant paintings, one would need to surpass the strength of an ordinary eternal sun. This was the threshold for receiving the master of Wu Shan's inheritance. The idea that if you couldn't surpass an ordinary eternal sun, how could you possibly become the new eternal lord? Besides, only a sufficiently powerful being could cultivate the master of Wu Shan's heritage. But with Lin Yuan's insight into space-time, there's no need to force through, as typically, few in the third realm reach the strength of an eternal sun without external aids. Never mind a frontal breakthrough of the obstruction of the powerful figures within the three giant paintings. The requirements for strength were even higher than those for an ordinary eternal sun. Don't underestimate them. The golden figure looked at Lin Yuan and continued. The powerful figures in these three giant paintings are seen by the master of Wu Shan as the true limit of the third realm, much stronger than the typical eternal sun, which is why the requirement is to break through the obstruction and enter the small door at the center of the world, rather than defeating them. Indeed, they are strong. Lin Yuan nodded. The first two of the three giant paintings possess the might of the Abyss Dragon, with the last even faintly surpassing Abyss Dragon. In theory, such powerful figures should not exist. Since the opening of the first Feng Yuan world, only one Abyss Dragon has ever been born, blessed with countless opportunities and causes to achieve such strength. The eternal sons of this Feng Yuan world only approach the strength of the Abyss Dragon. Perhaps the source demons could rival or even exceed the Abyss Dragon, but they could not enter this trial space. Chapter 1274. Wait a moment. So the master of Wu Shan doesn't require challengers to defeat them? That's simply impossible. The golden figure said. Even those privileged eternal sons, when encountering one of the figures in these three colossal paintings, would be overpowered, let alone facing all three. Especially the last one, which the master of Wu Shan modeled after the Lord of Heaven Light. The Lord of Heaven Light is not only the mightiest eternal Lord in this world, but also the most mysterious eternal Lord. No one knows about the past of the Lord of Heaven Light, only that as soon as he appeared, he was already an eternal Lord. All other eternal lords, including the master of Wu Shan, were strictly speaking, beneficiaries of the Lord of Heaven Light. Even the Rune Dao was passed on by the Lord of Heaven Light, and the other eternal lords were not its creators. Can I use any means? Lin Yuan thought for a moment and asked. Naturally. Regardless of what means you use, as long as it stems from your own strength, if you can walk into the central entrance of the world, you pass the test. The golden figure said, There are no restrictions. All right. Lin Yuan nodded lightly. You can listen to my advice or not. The golden figure added. In his view, Lin Yuan's only hope of passing the test lies in completely transcending the spatiotemporal fusion rule. But it was just advice. The golden figure couldn't force Lin Yuan to follow it. All right. Lin Yuan looked at the three colossal paintings. Can I try it now? You can. The golden figure was unsurprised. Whether they pass or not, the challengers ahead all first attempted to engage with the powerful figures in the paintings. After all, these three colossal paintings were considered by the master of Wu Shan to represent the limits of the third realm. Even if not opponents, they could at least witness them. There's no danger anyway. Go ahead. The golden figure watched Lin Yuan. Approach within 10,000 miles of the entrance, and the figure from the first painting will emerge. Within 1,000,000 miles, the figure from the second painting will emerge. Within 100,000 miles, the figure from the third painting will emerge. Simply put, the closer you get to the entrance, the greater the obstruction you face, especially within 100,000 miles of the entrance, where figures from all three paintings will intervene. All right. Lin Yuan immediately flew toward the center of the world. The closer he got, the more he could feel the immense and unbelievable enormity of the paintings. These figures in the three paintings were created by the master of Wu Shan, meaning brought into existence from thin air? Lin Yuan marveled slightly. At least the 6 ancestors of the first origin world didn't have such capabilities. Of course, every 13th level life form possesses different strengths. The master of Wu Shan specializes in the way of painting, which essentially is creating from the void. In terms of destructive power, though, compared to other eternal lords, maybe a bit inferior. Quickly, Lin Yuan arrived within 10,000 miles of the entrance. With a rustle, the first colossal painting unfurled, suddenly stirring delicate ripples, the image akin to a water surface. The gold-armored youth, as if coming to life, moved his hands, taking a step out of the painting. You are the 3,635th challenger. The gold-armored youth lazily looked at Lin Yuan, shaking his head. But it seems you won't even be able to get past me. It takes reaching within 1,000,000 miles of the entrance to provoke the second figure into action. Meanwhile, the gold-armored youth would prevent Lin Yuan from approaching. Let's give it a try. Lin Yuan's expression turned slightly grave. Confronting a being on par with the Abyss Dragon, Lin Yuan was encountering this for the first time. Ha ha ha! The gold-armored youth laughed. As his aura suddenly skyrocketed, golden armor glowing with billions of runes, causing the surrounding space-time to solidify and compress. This type of rune Dao? Lin Yuan scrutinized, realizing the gold-armored youth's mastery of the rune Dao far surpassed any of Lin Yuan's rune inheritances, producing an oppressive aura that nearly shattered space-time into particle form. Hold! The gold-armored youth raised his right hand, pressing it down toward Lin Yuan. Immediately, the surrounding space-time transformed into runes, enveloping Lin Yuan in an instant. A common third-realm transcendentor would be immobilized, then completely suppressed. Indeed, a typical third-realm transcendentor wouldn't even withstand the gold-armored youth's first move, much less break through. Using runes to interpret space-time? A trace of peculiar emotion crossed Lin Yuan's eyes. Stepping back, he easily dodged the youth's grab. For 1,000 years, Lin Yuan has been continuously comprehending the origin-source operations of the first origin world, pushing the space-time fusion rule to its limits. Even without hope of entering the entrance, handling the youth's move was more than manageable. The gold-armored youth was slightly startled, clearly not expecting Lin Yuan to be so slippery. Your space-time comprehension is not bad, the youth praised before calmly adding. But it's still far from enough. With a rumble, the surroundings filled instantly with golden runes. The runes intertwined and flowed, vaguely forming a massive golden cage. This move, Lin Yuan regarded it with slight solemnity. Even with his spatial temporal comprehension, breaking free from this golden cage would require considerable effort, during which the youth's attacks would have long descended. Rumble. Lin Yuan himself transformed directly into an eternal fierce sun. As the Taiyang divine spirit, performing such a lethal move wielded immense power. At the same time, the divine ability world also activated in an instant. The golden cage began to tremble and then shattered with a crash, and in the next moment, the golden armored boy's next strike roared forth. With the shackles of the golden cage gone, Lin Yuan successfully fused into time and space, evading it. This technique, I haven't seen it before? The golden armored boy was slightly astonished. Since the advent of the demonic calamity, throughout the long years, he had seen one challenger after another, but transforming into a fierce sun like Lin Yuan, with such tyrannical conversion and distortion of spacetime, was a first. Interesting. But strength is the foundation of everything. The golden armored boy continued his assault, golden runes filling the space-time. From start to finish, since the golden armored boy made his move, Lin Yuan had been at a disadvantage. Not to mention breaking through, even holding on before the golden armored boy was quite strenuous. In this descent, all resources have been prioritized for the true main body, indeed neglecting the cultivation of the two primordial spirits. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Whether it was the Tai-Yin primordial spirit or the Taiyang divine spirit, neither had developed a particle world, nor had much resources been expended on cultivating the internal universe of the physical body. The practice of infinite void did proceed, but reaching the 5th level, it was only comparable to an ordinary invincible great saint or strongest venerable. That is, the 3rd realm of this Feng Yuan world. Yet the golden armored boy was an existence above the eternal sun. Under such circumstances, It was already rare for Lin Yuan as the Taiyang divine spirit to persist so long before the golden armored boy. Under the golden armored boy's full attack, the third realm powerhouse, namely invincible great saint and strongest venerable, could not withstand it at all and was quickly suppressed. Chaos Sun Power. Lin Yuan once again transformed into a fierce sun. As the Taiyang divine spirit, it was purely solar and could not leverage the Taiyin Dao. Hence, the path of chaos evolution was not a perfect chaos Taiji, but a singular chaos sun. The fierce sun burned, incinerating the world, and the time-space rapidly changed to all become its domain. In an instant, even the golden runes from the invisible golden armored boy in the space-time retreated. Such a technique? The golden armored boy, unusually, stopped his hands, carefully observing for a moment, nodding in admiration. Rare indeed, this kind of chaos evolution power, though extreme, is indeed of great might. This Feng Yuan world perceives all things based on runes, similarly comprehending the Tao rules and the path of chaos evolution. In the eyes of the golden armored boy, even the singular chaos sun power was astonishing enough. With the path you're on, if cultivated to the limit, you should be able to reach the eternal sun level. The golden armored boy's tone gradually turned cold. But now you are far from it. Go back and continue cultivating for 1 billion years and then come back. The golden armored boy waved a hand, and endless golden runes swept forth again, mighty and imposing, instantly crushing the cosmic exterior of Lin Yuan. Boom! Lin Yuan suddenly retreated millions of miles, and only after several breaths did his aura calm down. As Lin Yuan left the million-mile range, the golden armored boy turned and walked back out of the giant painting. The golden runes dispersed, and everything returned to normal. Only Lin Yuan stood there, his expression immersed in contemplation. Relying solely on an untrained Taiyang divine spirit, it is indeed challenging to pass the test. Lin Yuan concluded that even the golden armored boy of merely the first giant painting could drive him back, let alone the second and third giant paintings. So, how do you feel? A golden figure appeared beside him, looking at Lin Yuan with a hint of amazement. In reality, Lin Yuan's performance just now against the golden armored boy had already exceeded the golden figure's expectations, almost reaching the normal eternal sun level. It's still according to my suggestion, through sheer strength you have no hope of passing the test. Only by completely transcending the spatio-temporal fusion rule can there be a chance. The golden figure said. Indeed, completely transcending the space-time rules was somewhat akin to taking a clever approach to passing the test, as it involved not engaging directly with the powerful figures in the 3 giant paintings but entirely entering the entrance through transcendent comprehension of space-time. However, the master of Wushan did not prohibit such methods, and the golden figure also advised in the direction most likely for Lin Yuan to pass the test. Completely transcending the spatio-temporal fusion rules comprehension is too slow. Lin Yuan stated honestly. He indeed felt this method was too slow. He wasn't sure whether it would take 1,000 years or 10,000 years. Too slow. The golden figure was slightly stunned. As long as there's hope, what does it matter if it takes 1 billion or 10 billion years? I still have means unutilized. Lin Yuan looked at the golden figure and said, "Wait for a moment." Qingyun Sacred Mountain, deep within the Qingyun Institute. Lin Yuan opened his eyes, stood up slowly, and then took a step forward. Time and space were instantly torn apart, with the terrifying power of the physical body and the majestic inner cosmos aura penetrating everything. Beyond the test space, around that valley, runes lit up instantaneously, space-time unfolded, as if resisting the intrusion of an unfathomable presence. The entire test space trembled, shaking incessantly. Chapter 1275. Grand Tao Creation of Yin and Yang. The test space trembles, countless runes rapidly coalesce. An unprecedented intertwining of energy, vast expanses of time and space, demonic chi all being obliterated. But still, it's hard to withstand. What happened? Inside the space, a golden figure's complexion changes drastically. As the spirit of the test space, he knows well the pressure the entire test space is under at this moment. Tottering, could collapse at any moment. But how is this possible? The test space was opened by the great master of Wushan. As the eternal Lord, the space he opens, even if done casually, cannot be shaken by beings at the level of the third realm. This is a difference of quality. Source demons. A group of source demons? The golden figure can only associate the direction towards source demons, speculating it might be a source demon siege. But he denies this possibility in a flash. Source demons are indeed strong, superior to the eternal suns. But to shake this test space? The strength of source demons, stemming from the source of demonic disaster, is naturally strong. Yet due to the secrecy of this test space, involving the essence of time and space, source demons simply can't find it. Even if they could find it, they couldn't shake it. As for demon gods need to suppress the central eternal sex of heaven and earth. They simply don't have the energy, nor the need to come here to obliterate this test space. Bear in mind, since the master of Wushan foresaw the descent of demonic disaster, the test space that he opened naturally is far more than just this one. Lin Yuan only explored for hundreds to thousands of years before discovering this test space. Indeed, luck played a part, but it wasn't solely luck. The number of test spaces was truly considerable. Aside from the master of Wushan, other eternal lords also made respective arrangements. The essence of the test space is a transit space, leading to the ultimate inheritance left by the master of Wushan. Such transit spaces in the source world, there are many, with the purpose of screening cultivators who meet the test criteria as much as possible. Destroying a transit space hardly affects the arrangements of the master of Wushan. Because the inheritance is still there, other transit test spaces are also still there. Therefore, even if demon gods abandon the central eternal sex of heaven and earth, they wouldn't specially come here to destroy this test space. No wonder it's a space opened by the eternal Lord. Compared to the golden figure's panic, Lin Yuan is somewhat amazed. His true self uses this Taiyang divine spirit as a beacon, attempting to descend directly, yet it's blocked by the endless runes outside the test space. In fact, it can't really be called blocked. If Lin Yuan's true self was truly intent on forcibly squeezing in, he could manage to do it. But the consequence is this test space completely collapsing. That contradicts Lin Yuan's purpose. His true self comes personally to acquire the inheritance left by the master of Wushan, not to destroy this test space. This test space, involving energy fluctuations, only around the level of the third realm, presumably casually opened by the master of Wushan, yet able to reach such a level? Lin Yuan mused to himself. His true self surpasses the third realm by countless times, yet still cannot smoothly squeeze in. It's evident that the rules operating the test space are very high. Runes? Lin Yuan glanced at the endless runes around the test space, each individual rune seemingly insignificant in power, but when gathered, bursting forth with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of times beyond its own might. Master of Wushan. Lin Yuan grows more expectant of the inheritance left by this eternal lord. Little one, this test space probably can't be preserved. The golden figure turns to look at Lin Yuan, solemnly saying, while you still have the capacity, immediately obliterate your flesh body. Although the golden figure doesn't believe source demons can lock onto this test space. But for now, we can only prepare for the worst. And if killed by demons, even if only an avatar is killed, the mind and will would still be eroded by demonic chi, the entire true self will perish. Therefore, facing invincible demons, the best approach is to directly obliterate the flesh body, avoiding contact with demons. This is the reason why the golden figure wants Lin Yuan to proactively obliterate his body. At least he can still survive. Obliterate the flesh body? Lin Yuan looks at the golden figure. Don't worry, with this test space destroyed, there are other test spaces. Just keep heading in this direction, you'll find the next test space. The golden figure speaks. The test space opened by the master of Wushan is plentiful. Even with a collapse, it wouldn't affect the overall layout. With Lin Yuan's talent and aptitude, there's a slim hope to transcend the spatio-temporal fusion rule, to pass the tests left by the master of Wushan, being a hope among the cultivators of this world. The golden figure naturally wants to preserve such a prodigy. Senior, you've misunderstood. Lin Yuan immediately reacts, his true self's descent causing the test space spirit before him to face a crisis, thinking a powerful source demon is attacking. Misunderstood. The golden figure looks at Lin Yuan. At this moment, he also realizes something is off. The trembling of the test space is detectable not only by him but also felt by Lin Yuan as the tester. Yet there's no sign of shock, panic, or similar emotions. It's my true self arriving. Lin Yuan says, my true self was planning to descend directly to save you from the trouble of moving back and forth, Senior. Upon hearing this, the golden figure immediately falls into silence. So the one shaking the test space, causing it to teeter on the edge wasn't demons, but the Lin Yuan before him? Is it a cultivator? The golden figure is momentarily unable to react. Chapter 1276. Grand Tao Creation of Yin and Yang. Can cultivators be this powerful? If you don't believe me, my true form is right outside. Lin Yuan immediately said. Forcibly entering could lead to the collapse of the test space. So Lin Yuan still plans to enter through the normal way. Wait a moment. The golden figure steadied themselves. Although Lin Yuan's statement was unbelievable, at that moment as Lin Yuan finished speaking, the forceful intrusion outside quickly calmed down. This made the golden figure feel that what Lin Yuan said might be true. The next moment, the golden figure disappeared from where they stood, peering above the valley outside. The golden figure looked around, discovering a young man standing quietly there. The young man's appearance was identical to Lin Yuan inside the space, but the aura was vastly different. Utilizing the perceptive power of the test space, the golden figure vaguely sensed the terror of this young man, as if countless vast worlds were nurtured within him. Senior. Lin Yuan's true form looked at the golden figure, smiling and greeted. You. The golden figure took a deep breath. Upon seeing Lin Yuan's true form, he realized that the Lin Yuan outside and Lin Yuan inside the space belonged to the same being, causally connected. Do not resist, I will take you in. Thoughts churned. The golden figure remained silent for a while, then decided to speak. All right. Lin Yuan nodded. Boom. A surge of temporal fluctuations swept through. Lin Yuan was directly moved into the test space. The Taiyang divine spirit glanced at the true form, transforming into a scorching force and merging within. How can he be this strong? The golden figure repeatedly observed Lin Yuan. First of all, Lin Yuan wasn't a demon, but a normal cultivator. There is a significant difference between cultivators and demons, akin to clear water and ink. If a cultivator absorbs demonic qi, it's akin to becoming demonic, like ink dropped into clear water, equally easy to distinguish. In the eyes of the golden figure, Lin Yuan's aura was pure, except for being dense almost to the point of being unbelievable, and had no relation to demons. This is also why the golden figure brought Lin Yuan's true form into the test space. After understanding that the tremors in the test space originated from Lin Yuan's true form, bringing Lin Yuan's true form inside repeatedly confirmed Lin Yuan's identity as a cultivator. If he were a demon that powerful entering the test space, it wouldn't be as simple as destroying a test space. It would also impact the inheritance of the master of Wushan, and this setup would directly fall through. Which eternal son are you? The golden figure remained silent for a while but couldn't help asking. The so-called eternal sons are the strongest successors of the eternal sect forces, the objects of the eternal lord's focused cultivation. The strength of an eternal son approaches the limit of the free three realms, or some extremely exceptional eternal sons have already reached that limit, not weaker than the strong figures within the first two large paintings of this test space. Eternal son? I'm not an eternal son. Lin Yuan looked at the golden figure and spoke. No need to lie in this regard. Lin Yuan has not currently mastered any Rune Dao inheritance from the eternal sect and cannot pose as an eternal son. Not an eternal son. The golden figure was not surprised. He only asked casually earlier, and in reality he didn't think Lin Yuan was an eternal son. If the Eternal Sect had produced such an exceptional eternal son, how could he appear outside this test space? Various Eternal Lords have set up backups to deal with the situation when demonic disasters arrive. Being the direct lineage of an Eternal Lord as part of the Eternal Sect forces, certainly, there are more complete inheritances to choose from. Even if it also includes the inheritance of the Master of Wushan, the test space they enter would not be here. Senior, I'll go try again. Lin Yuan looked at the golden figure and immediately said, "Go." The golden figure nodded. At the same time, a sense of anticipation surged within. Given the strength Lin Yuan had just showcased, the figures in the first two massive paintings would surely not be able to resist. As for the third painting, it might not be able to either, but the warrior in the third painting is modeled after the Lord of Heaven Light, and is the most powerful and perfect being among the countless creatures Master of Wushan has depicted. Just uncertain whether he would be stronger or weaker compared to Lin Yuan. Indeed, the golden figure anticipated the battle between Lin Yuan and the warrior from the third painting to see who was stronger. Lin Yuan passing the trials was beyond doubt. Even if all three warriors from the paintings came forth at once, they wouldn't be able to stop Lin Yuan. If even Lin Yuan couldn't pass the trial, then no cultivator in this realm would be able to. But not being able to stop does not equate to being weaker than Lin Yuan. 1,000 miles away from the central entrance of the realm, Lin Yuan stepped in once again. But compared to the first time, now Lin Yuan was no longer in his Taiyang divine spirit form. He was in his true form. Whoosh! The first massive painting undulated like flowing water, creating ripples. The golden armored youth strode out from the scene. "You again." The golden armored youth glanced at Lin Yuan. "I told you, now you are far." Before the golden armored youth could finish speaking, his expression slightly changed. He clearly sensed that the current Lin Yuan was different from before. "You!" The golden armored youth's eyes faintly emitted a golden glow, carefully observing Lin Yuan. "Interesting. I actually sense danger from you?" The golden armored youth found it hard to believe. Being the ultimate life form created by the Master of Wushan, he lacked nothing, especially in combat, able to sense even the slightest threat. "Now I am in my true form," Lin Yuan said while looking at the golden armored youth. "I will do my best next." In order to quickly obtain the legacy from the Master of Wushan, Lin Yuan had no intention to battle the three warriors in the paintings for 300 rounds, to understand the essence of their techniques. These three massive paintings were all created by Master of Wushan. Obtaining the legacy left by the Master of Wushan was far more efficient than comprehending the massive paintings. "Come." The golden armored youth showed no sign of underestimating. In an instant, countless golden runes appeared from all directions, forming an enormous barrier. Having sensed danger from Lin Yuan, the golden armored youth had no intent to attack proactively, but focused entirely on defense. His purpose of existence was to prevent any challenger from approaching the central entrance. Previously attacking Lin Yuan was simply because he didn't perceive a significant threat from him. Without any threat, the golden armored youth believed Lin Yuan couldn't get past him near the entrance. Hence he struck, only for fun. Lin Yuan stood quietly in the void, calmly looking at the golden armored youth, treating him as a formidable adversary. At this moment, Lin Yuan raised his right hand, fingers forming an invisible grasp. A snow-white light appeared in his palm, expanding swiftly, evolving into a slender sword light. Lin Yuan's left hand mirrored the same scene, but the snow-white sword light turned into a pitch-black sword light. The pitch-black and snow-white sword lights together formed a yin-yang taiji diagram. Soon the yin-yang taiji diagram transformed into a yin-yang taiji sword. Chaos yin-yang taiji isn't limited to just the diagram form. It's capable of evolving into anything within Lin Yuan's cognition. However, the Chaos yin-yang taiji diagram excels in suppression, which Lin Yuan often uses, and the Chaos yin-yang taiji sword excels in attack. Holding the Chaos yin-yang taiji sword, Lin Yuan gently slashed towards the golden armored youth. Creation Tao sees birth and death. As if in the primordial chaos when the world first opened, a black and white sword light flashed and vanished. The countless golden runes gathered with full effort by the golden-armored youth were completely severed. Together with the golden-armored youth being sliced into two, his presence dissipating, returning to the painting. The black and white sword light continued forward. From the second massive painting, the exceedingly alluring woman stepped out. A sword mark appeared from her forehead downwards. Her form shattered, returning to the painting. The third massive painting. Who knows of the great dream? A slumber passes through eternity. The white-robed man lazily stepped out from the painting, speaking languidly. "You're the 9th challenger to reach me here." Before the white-robed man could finish, he saw an opening sword light slashing towards him. Chapter 1277. Eternal Painting. This sword strike. The white-robed man's scalp tingled. His strength surpassed the powerful beings in the previous two gigantic paintings. Therefore, when faced with the sword strike unleashed by Lin Yuan, he wasn't immediately obliterated without any reaction. Returning to the painting, the white-robed man reacted and swiftly mounted a resistance, with runes spreading throughout the void. The runes that the white-robed man conjured were incredibly dense and hinted at infinite brilliance. But it was of no use. In front of the black and white sword light that divided heaven and earth, all runes were obliterated. In an instant, the black and white sword light reached the white-robed man. The white-robed man sighed softly and closed his eyes. Rustle. Immediately after, the white-robed man's form disintegrated like the powerful beings within the previous two gigantic paintings. However, compared to the golden-armored youth and charming woman, the white-robed man's disintegrated form did not return to the painting. It reconsolidated. Lin Yuan looked at the white-robed man. There was an unavoidable expression of surprise. Although that strike was not his strongest move, it was still a full-strength attack. A full-strength attack in a regular state. According to Lin Yuan's estimate, the power of the strike should be undodgeable by even 10 abyss dragons. And this strike contained the Chaos Yin-Yang Taiji Dao, possessing an infinite destructive force that would obliterate the physical body, soul, and spirit, making recovery impossible for that true form. In Lin Yuan's insight, if he cultivated his Chaos Yin-Yang Taiji Dao to the 3rd level, it would encompass causality. Enemies slain by this Dao under the pull of causality would find even their true forms and backup life-preserving methods affected. Simply put, those below the 13th rank were as vulnerable as ants before Lin Yuan, devoid of any life-preserving means. Don't overthink it. You've already passed the test. The white-robed man looked at Lin Yuan, seemingly perceiving something, and said, "I recondensed using the power of the gigantic painting. Without it, under your sword strike, I would have been utterly annihilated." The white-robed man scrutinized Lin Yuan closely. As the most perfect and powerful life painted by the master of Wushan, since his birth, no existence had ever managed to defeat him head-on. Not even those eternal suns were exceptions. There were many test spaces created by the master of Wushan, and since the great changes in heaven and earth, many powerful beings had come to undertake tests, including some eternal sons and destiny's children born under the threat of magic catastrophes. But those who passed the test did so only by employing some desperate measure to bypass the white-robed man and enter through the entrance. No one, like Lin Yuan, had ever directly eradicated the white-robed man with a single sword strike, and instantaneously at that. The white-robed man himself never imagined that one day he would be so easily defeated by a being lower than the Eternal Lord, let alone those source demons. "Thank you for the match." Lin Yuan instantly understood. He looked at the white-robed man and nodded slightly. It must be said the white-robed man was, thus far, the strongest being below the 13th rank Lin Yuan had encountered. Even the abyss dragon from the first origin world seemed inadequate before the white-robed man. But unfortunately, the white-robed man encountered Lin Yuan. 1,000 years ago, Lin Yuan's strength had surpassed the abyss dragon and wasn't weaker than the current white-robed man, especially after a millennium's cultivation, with significant advancements in rule comprehension and the development of a 100 billion particle world. A 100 billion particle world, which had been reshaped by the infinite void, granted Lin Yuan terrifying augmentation. Upon arriving in this origin world, Lin Yuan gathered all resources, forsook the cultivation of the two primordial spirits, and focused solely on developing the particle world, showing how this method benefited his elevation. There's no need to mention thanks. The white-robed man shook his head. I'm indeed not your match, not by far. The white-robed man candidly admitted. The gap between him and Lin Yuan was too large. Even after obliterating the golden-armored youth from the first gigantic painting and the charming woman from the second, Lin Yuan's sword strike still annihilated him. This meant he couldn't even withstand the residual power of that sword strike. Among the 6 test-takers who passed, you are the strongest, probably the most powerful life form under the Eternal Lord. I hope you can fulfill the Master of Wushan's expectations and completely eradicate the magic catastrophe. The white-robed man looked at Lin Yuan, lost in thought, his form disintegrating, returning to the painting. The reason he reconsolidated using the power of the gigantic painting was simply to see what kind of existence could defeat him with a single sword strike. That's all. Completely eradicate the magic catastrophe? Lin Yuan did not respond. According to the golden figure's meaning, the purpose behind the Master of Wushan creating many test spaces was to nurture a new Eternal Lord. In other words, to eradicate the magic catastrophe, one must become the new Eternal Lord. And the Eternal Lord, although in the future timeline seen by the 6 patriarchs of the first origin world, Lin Yuan was almost certain to become 13th rank. Without 100% certainty, Lin Yuan always felt uneasy. This is also the reason why Lin Yuan traveled to the second source world before attempting to break through to the 13th tier. He wanted to acquire more accumulations to break through to the 13th tier. If Lin Yuan were like other strong beings, the hope of breaking through to the 13th tier would be slim. Perhaps he would have just pushed forward recklessly, since everyone is in the same boat, barefoot with nothing to lose. But the more confident he was, the more cautious Lin Yuan became, because he wasn't exactly barefoot. Whoosh! Lin Yuan took a step forward, arriving at the very center of heaven and earth, in front of that small entrance gate. Swoosh! A golden figure appeared, standing beside the small entrance gate. Congratulations on successfully passing the test. The golden figure looked at Lin Yuan with a complex expression. In the past, when a cultivator passed the test, he would certainly feel delighted, as this meant that the arrangements of the Master of Wushan had worked. If none of the examiners passed the inheritance left by the Master of Wushan, then what was the purpose of the many test spaces? However, the scene of Lin Yuan passing the test began to shatter the golden figure's understanding. Even when Lin Yuan's true self descended upon the test space, the commotion he caused was already greatly underestimated by the golden figure. But then he slayed the strong beings in 3 large paintings with one strike, especially the last painting, which was considered by the Master of Wushan to be the most perfect and strongest existence beneath the Eternal Lord. The man in white was the most perfect and strongest being beneath the Eternal Lord. So what did that make Lin Yuan? Does this mean the Master of Wushan was wrong? How could the Eternal Lord, who oversees countless future timelines, possibly be wrong? I wonder if the Master of Wushan has seen this scene now. The golden figure remarked with a sense of emotion. The Eternal Lord can clearly see many future timelines, and when the Master of Wushan created numerous test spaces, he probably watched them too and might have known how many examiners would pass the test in the eons to come. Probably did not see. Lin Yuan mused inwardly upon hearing this. He descended to the source world through the Myriad Realms Gate, and the Myriad Realms Gate transcends all timelines, outside the observation of many time beings. In the first source world, the 6 ancestors could not see Lin Yuan's arrival in the future before he descended, not even a single timeline, because they could not observe the Myriad Realms Gate, nor could they determine Lin Yuan's descent. It was only after Lin Yuan fully descended to the first source world, appearing in that source world's timeline, that by watching the timeline of Lin Yuan's arrival could they observe a timeline where Lin Yuan existed. As for before Lin Yuan's arrival, looking at the timeline from before he descended, they could not see Lin Yuan's existence. This is the same for this source world. Lin Yuan has been in this source world for over 1,000 years, and when the Master of Wushan created multiple test spaces, It was before the great upheaval of heaven and earth. From watching the future from that time, they likely could not detect any trace of Lin Yuan, let alone see Lin Yuan passing the test. Of course, the fundamental principle inside is known only to Lin Yuan. As for those time beings, they probably think it's due to their own limited power, limited timelines they can observe, not discovering the timelines where Lin Yuan exists. In fact, as long as Lin Yuan does not descend to a certain source world, even if all timelines of that source world are observed, there won't be any trace of Lin Yuan. Where exactly is the master of Wushan now? Lin Yuan asked. Before entering this test space, the golden figure answered some of Lin Yuan's doubts, such as how the demon god was not the true source of the magic disaster. But what Lin Yuan wanted to know more, the golden figure couldn't conveniently disclose to him. The master of Wushan. The golden figure remained silent, thought for a while, then spoke. Since you have passed the test, it shows there is hope to eradicate the magic disaster. Then many secrets can be shared with you. The golden figure gazed at Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan immediately listened intently. The master of Wushan, during the time of great transformation, the day the magic disaster descended, was trapped in a certain space-time. The golden figure said, "Trapped in a certain space-time?" Lin Yuan was startled. How could a dignified 13th-tier time life also be trapped? One cannot say trapped exactly. It was the master of Wushan who chose to be trapped. The golden figure thought for a moment, then said, "I see." Lin Yuan nodded. A 13th-tier time life can view future timelines, definitely able to see the scene of being trapped. The master of Wushan precisely got trapped after weighing the results of many timelines, believing that being trapped was the best outcome, so chose to be trapped willingly. Not only the master of Wushan, but the other eternal lords are trapped, unable to directly interfere with heaven and earth. They can only exert influence through the arrangements set before the great transformation. The golden figure continued. All the eternal lords are trapped, or willingly chose to be trapped. Lin Yuan's thoughts spread wide. What could cause all the eternal lords to choose this outcome? Because of what were they trapped? Lin Yuan pursued. I truly don't know. The golden figure shook his head and said, but once you become the new eternal lord, you will definitely know. After saying this, the golden figure then glanced at the small entrance gate beside him. Since you have passed the test, you can obtain the inheritance left by the master of Wushan. The golden figure finished speaking. The small entrance gate emitted an invisible fluctuation. Lin Yuan's consciousness melded into the entrance, and in a trance, he saw a massive painting. A painting encompassing the eternal universe and heavens. Chapter 1278. Light. Lin Yuan looked at the eternal painting his heart sensed. It was vast and boundless, like a real source world. But Lin Yuan clearly felt that the gigantic painting's framework was set up. Yet within the vast painting, many areas remained vague and blank, still unpainted. This is a painting that's not yet finished. Lin Yuan's expression was solemn. If this colossal painting were fully completed, it would be a real source world. At that time, Master of Wushan relying on this grand painting could at least reach the level of a 13th level lord. At the height of time life, what is pursued is all related to one's own great Tao, and Master of Wushan, having crossed into the 13th level through painting, would need to draw a complete source world to progress further. Remarkable. Lin Yuan carefully observed the eternal painting. How vast and majestic is a source world. It's no longer a matter of size or area, but encompasses countless rule Daos. To paint a source world is equivalent to creating a source world, and its difficulty is far greater than Lin Yuan cultivating the infinite void to the theoretical 7th level. The ultimate goal of infinite void is chaos void, whereas the source world, although comparable in level with chaos void, the source world is more perfect. The 13th level time beings of chaos void have left many special places to compensate for the flaws of chaos void, but the source world has no such concerns. Because the source world has no inherent flaws, it is nearly perfect. Though unfinished, it's enough for me. Lin Yuan watched the colossal painting. The painting itself is composed of endless runes. master of Wushan, painted with runes to create a source world encompassing the universe. Your understanding defies the heavens. By observing the unknown grand painting, your comprehension of Rune Dao is enhanced. Lin Yuan's mind immersed in the boundless eternal painting. His entire being was elevating. The essence of Rune Dao is a supportive Dao, capable of integrating with any cultivation system. With runes, many originally unattainable or challenging feats become possible. For instance, Lin Yuan's current development of particle worlds. Initially, maintaining the existence of each particle world required some mental effort. For Lin Yuan, whose goal is to develop endless constant sand particle worlds, this is unacceptable. But Rune Dao solves this flaw, sustaining each particle world through rune operation without any mental input. Who knows how much time has passed? Lin Yuan slowly opened his eyes. How was it? The golden figure looked at Lin Yuan and asked. Very impactful. Lin Yuan nodded. The eternal painting had already imprinted deeply in his mind. He could ponder over it at any time. That's all it took to impress you? The golden figure smiled. Lin Yuan looked at the golden figure. Their remark implied there were other benefits? Elder. Lin Yuan immediately called out. Ha ha. The golden figure smiled. With his experience, even if called so by the eternal sons, it would be appropriate. But Lin Yuan's power was so overwhelming. So overwhelming that the golden figure didn't even consider him a life below the eternal Lord. What is the purpose of this trial space? The golden figure asked. To cultivate a new eternal Lord. Lin Yuan thought for a moment and replied. This was also what the golden figure had told him initially. The trial space was master of Wushan's setup before the great change of heaven and earth. It aimed to cultivate an eternal Lord for this world after the disaster struck. Only then could the demon calamity be eradicated. Do you think the grand painting left by Master of Wushan can cultivate an eternal Lord? The golden figure asked. This? Lin Yuan appeared thoughtful. The eternal painting left by Master of Wushan was profound and boundless. Even other 13th level time beings needed to comprehend it slowly. For Lin Yuan it was even more so. Even stepping into the 13th level, he would continue to benefit from the grand painting. But in essence, the grand painting didn't mention how to step into the 13th level. Even if fully comprehending this eternal painting, stepping into the 13th level, especially breaking through the time loop, it doesn't provide substantial help. If one can't step into the 13th level, can't enhance the possibility of breaking the time loop. This grand painting isn't very significant. It's not as beneficial as the addition of another cultivator in Lin Yuan's dissemination of martial Tao. At least it would strengthen the anchor a bit. Actually, besides the magnificent grand painting heritage left by Master of Wushan, there's another heritage. The golden figure looked at Lin Yuan, continuing, the legacy of the Lord of Heaven Light. The Lord of Heaven Light? Lin Yuan's heart slightly trembled. Whether Qingyun Sacred Mountains records or the inheritances from other free Three Realms powerhouses Lin Yuan obtained during his explorations, all mentioned this eternal Lord. The Lord of Heaven Light was the first eternal Lord to appear in this world. Also the most mysterious eternal Lord. The reason for first appearance was that no one knew when the Lord of Heaven Light became an eternal Lord. At the birth of the heavens and earth, or even earlier, no one knew. All that was known was that when the Lord of Heaven Light first appeared before all beings, he was already an eternal Lord. It was precisely because of the Lord of Heaven Light that this world's cultivation system could flourish, and Rune Dao was rooted in the Lord of Heaven Light. Although the great Master of Wushan also has some experience in becoming an eternal Lord, it must be acknowledged that compared to the Lord of Heaven Light, he's still lacking. The golden figure continued. If not for the Lord of Heaven Light, the current number of eternal lords would surely be halved. Chapter 1279, Light. Although the Lord of Heaven Light did not directly cultivate the eternal Lord, all current eternal lords bear the karmic legacy of the Lord of Heaven Light, having sublimated to the utmost on the cultivation system established by him. The golden figure spoke with admiration. highly praising the Lord of Heaven Light. I see. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. Each eternal Lord walks a different path, pursues different things. The Lord of Heaven Light laid the foundational roots for cultivation in this realm, which led to the emergence of the eternal lords. The Lord of Heaven Light once created an inheritance specifically for how the weak can become an eternal lord, composed of 33 original texts, of which the great master of Wushan obtained one such original text. The golden figure said, "The so-called original inheritance is handwritten by the creator of the inheritance. Although it can be copied, the flavor is diminished. Its impact on cultivators is most direct and authentic when it is the original inheritance." This is the inheritance. The golden figure flipped his right hand, revealing a book before them. An inheritance created specifically for breaking through to the 13th tier? Lin Yuan felt quite excited within. So far, any 13th tier inheritance he had acquired was for the enhancement of his foundational strength. But specifically for breaking through to the 13th tier, he had found none. Lin Yuan had very limited understanding of how to break through to the 13th tier and overcome the time cycle. He knew only that spreading his evolution path and allowing more beings to cultivate would form anchor points, beacons, for himself trapped in the time cycle. Moreover, facing the time cycle when breaking through to the 13th tier would be a test he had never encountered before. If one fails the first time, related memories would be erased, and then one would start the identical cycle anew. This is why it is termed time cycle. Lin Yuan immediately picked up the book in front of him. The book was very thin, displaying a hue of green jade. This original inheritance can only be comprehended here. Don't take it out. The golden figure immediately stated. There is only this one original inheritance. If Lin Yuan takes it away without returning it, it would mean future cultivators who pass the test would lose the chance to comprehend this inheritance. Of course. Lin Yuan nodded. It was simply a matter of leaving an avatar here for a long term. It's not a difficult task. The Lord of Heaven Light's understanding of breaking through the 13th tier. Lin Yuan appeared expectant and immediately began to open the book. As the green jade-colored book was opened, countless messages surged forth, entering Lin Yuan's mind. Countless messages condensed into a towering figure. He stood beneath the vast firmament, his whole body emitting infinite light, illuminating everywhere. This illumination was markedly different from that of Fierce Sun. The illumination of the ancestor of Fierce Sun, the first source world, was a mighty erosion, with its daylight creating dominion. Whereas this infinite illumination now was inclusive, embracing everything, it had no sense of erosion or oppression. Lin Yuan observed the towering figure beneath the firmament, only feeling incomparably warm and comfortable. Is this the Lord of Heaven Light? Lin Yuan immediately understood that this towering figure endowed with infinite light was indeed the Lord of Heaven Light. To be precise, it was an imprint left by the Lord of Heaven Light, intended to bear the inheritance. So powerful, Lin Yuan thought inwardly. Even though the towering figure exerted no pressure on him, Lin Yuan instinctively felt that the ancestor of Fierce Sun was inferior to the Lord of Heaven Light. Even the other 5 ancestors of the first source world were all inferior to the Lord of Heaven Light. The Lord of Heaven Light was so powerful that he no longer needed to use feelings of pressure, but touched a higher realm. How to become an eternal Lord, how to transform into a time life. The Lord of Heaven Light said with a smile. The main thing is how to break through the time cycle. Time cycle is the greatest threshold for all lives in endless dimensional dimensions to transform into time lives. Lives caught in the time cycle will face testing they have not previously encountered. Past methods and abilities will become ineffective. Thus, to break through the time cycle, there are often 2 choices. The Lord of Heaven Light said with a gentle smile. First is to do nothing. Since the test of the time cycle is something you've never encountered, it is meaningless to prepare regardless. Second is to prepare to the utmost, as the infinite great way is also finite. If you can prepare all tests, reaching omniscience and omnipotence, you can naturally easily break through the time cycle. The Lord of Heaven Light spoke in a warm tone. Lin Yuan listened seriously. The information given by the Lord of Heaven Light was largely known to Lin Yuan, likely just an introduction to breaking through the time cycle. Next, I will explain how I break through the time cycle in my way. The Lord of Heaven Light said with a smile. Firstly, what do you think runes are? What are runes? Lin Yuan fell into contemplation. Runes, as he encountered them, were a means, a secret technique. Having nearly universal use, they can maintain the existence of particle worlds. They can enhance the power of lethal moves, and so on. To you, runes should only be a kind of means. If one specializes in runes within the time cycle, they certainly cannot use runes. The Lord of Heaven Light said. Yes. Lin Yuan nodded. He had long prepared to lose all means and abilities within the time cycle. Runes? Inner universe? Physical body? The more Lin Yuan excelled in these, the less he could wield them once caught in the time cycle. But to me, runes are not just a means, they are the foundation of all things, even time, which can be recreated with runes, so even in a time cycle, runes can be used. The Lord of Heaven Light continued. Runes can be used within the time cycle? Lin Yuan's pupils slightly contracted. With what means do you condense runes? Spiritual power? Soul power? Blood power? Or other diverse forces? The Lord of Heaven Light asked. Lin Yuan listened carefully. He condensed runes using the power of his inner universe. This was also one of the primary means Lin Yuan mastered. Indeed, the time cycle will bypass sealing all means you specialize in. For instance, if you specialize in condensing runes with spiritual power, then during the time cycle, you won't be able to use any spiritual power. You excel at condensing runes with soul power, the soul power will be closed off, same with blood power. The Lord of Heaven Light gently looked at Lin Yuan. But the runes themselves will not disappear. It only creates the illusion that the runes are gone due to the incapability of utilizing the means to activate runes. Lin Yuan was absorbed in the recounting from the Lord of Heaven Light within the book, whose understanding of runes far exceeded Lin Yuan's imagination. No wonder Li Hong believed among the eternal lords, the Lord of Heaven Light was indisputably the strongest. Now, Lin Yuan shared the same thought as Li Hong. This is truly the essence of runes. Lin Yuan's eyes were full of awe. The inheritance recorded in the book brought Lin Yuan no direct enhancement to power. It was far inferior to the yield of creating a particle world. Yet Lin Yuan felt his comprehension of runes had greatly ascended. To put it plainly, originally runes for Lin Yuan were a keen treasure sword. But now runes to Lin Yuan were not just a sword. Shield? Long blade? Giant mace? Lin Yuan could effortlessly possess any weapon. If runes can truly be used within the time cycle, then the likelihood of breaking through the cycle would be a lot higher. Lin Yuan thought to himself. In a time cycle where rules are constrained, being able to wield rune force is akin to having a cheat. Chaos Void. Runes. Lin Yuan immediately felt his understanding of runes had transformed, no longer limited to a kind of means, but encapsulating all things. Gather. With a slight thought, Lin Yuan gathered rune after rune, forming an avatar. This avatar's aura was terrifying, permeating layers of time and space. It almost had the strength akin to the Abyss Dragon. And this was just Lin Yuan's external application of runes, with an unfathomable enhancement to his own power. Chapter 1280. It's enough. Lin Yuan gazed at the avatar before him. The avatar shared the same mental will as the true self, but lacked the strength of the original form. Why was this? Firstly, because there wasn't much mental will invested in the avatar. Secondly, the avatar's physical form was casually condensed, unable to exhibit Lin Yuan's true strength. In comparison, a clone's strength is much superior because its physical form has been cultivated and is strong enough. Whether in the Chaos Void, the first source world, or the second source world, cultivators highly regard clones, especially the main battle physical forms. The loss of a main battle physical form wastes years of effort. As of now, the avatar casually condensed before Lin Yuan hadn't undergone any cultivation. Yet, due to the utilization of the Rune Dao, this avatar's strength underwent a qualitative change, reaching a level close to the Abyss Dragon. Even with just an avatar now, My strength can rival the eternal sun of the second source world? Lin Yuan marveled. What is the eternal sun? It is an existence cultivated by a great sect, even highly regarded by the eternal Lord before its final emergence. Its strength far exceeds that of the strongest venerable of the first source world. The master of Wushan, through his drawing skills, created 3 perfect giant paintings, with the strong ones within barely reaching the threshold of the Abyss Dragon for the first 2 paintings. Has such fighting strength now been reached by Lin Yuan's casually condensed avatar? The strength of the true form? Lin Yuan perceived his own changes. An enhanced understanding of the Rune Dao allowed him to utilize the Rune Dao more perfectly, whereas the 13th tier legacy Infinite Void merely enhanced his inner universe. Now, the Rune Dao's enhancement for Lin Yuan is comprehensive, ranging from the inner universe to the physical body, soul, and mental will, including everything. This is only the initial comprehension of this legacy. Lin Yuan composed himself. The legacy created by the Lord of Heaven Light mainly elaborated on the comprehension of runes. According to the Lord of Heaven Light's division, the legacy is divided into 5 levels. Comprehending the 5th level allows one to utilize the power of runes within the time cycle. Lin Yuan has currently only comprehended the 1st level. Of course, Lord of Heaven Light frankly acknowledged that it was unrealistic for normal cultivators to comprehend the 5th level, which was nearly at the Eternal Lord's level of perception. However, even reaching the 3rd or 4th level can provide ample aid to break through the time cycle, where comprehension regarding runes, even if not directly utilized, can be slightly used indirectly. Unfortunately, even now, compared to the 13th level time life, the gap is still significant. Lin Yuan pondered. The strength of 13th level time life lies in their ability to glimpse future timelines. The choices for the future outweigh direct strength. Even disregarding this ability to observe future timelines, Lin Yuan was far from being a match for 13th level life. Take it slowly. With this legacy, the chance to break through the time cycle seems much greater. Lin Yuan felt pleased. The Lord of Heaven Light considered it unrealistic for cultivators to master the 5th level of the legacy. However, for other cultivators, Lin Yuan certainly wasn't in this category. With Lin Yuan's against heaven's understanding, truly exerting himself to comprehend. Not to say he could certainly train to the 5th level, yet there was a significant hope. Perception at the Eternal Lord's level? Lin Yuan was not incapable of reaching this. It was merely a matter of how much time and energy he would devote. At the edge of the chaos void, a rift connected to a dimension beyond. A giant eye looked from afar. It was the Eye of Myriad Laws. This dimensional rift, the Eye of Myriad Laws scrutinized it closely. The chaos void wasn't perfect. Even with numerous time lives filling in, dimensional rifts still occurred at its edges. Dimensional rifts connect to dimensions beyond, which are dimensional gaps. Dimensional gaps, already detached from the dimension where the chaos void resides. There, dangers abound but also contain numerous opportunities. The dimensional rift locked by the Eye of Myriad Laws is connected to a dimensional gap containing resources it requires. To obtain such resources, the Eye of Myriad Laws utilized accumulated favors to send over a dozen invincible great saints. Whoosh! At this moment, a figure condensed, forming a silver-robed elder. Myriad Laws Senior. The silver-robed elder, named Great Saint Fengzhu, was an invincible great saint. He received the Pavilion of Myriad Laws protection during his weaker years, thus owing a favor to the Eye of Myriad Laws. How is it? The Eye of Myriad Laws looked at Great Saint Fengzhu and inquired. Beyond the dimensional gap, the native creatures on the small continent are too difficult to deal with, making it challenging to claim the magic origin fruit, Fengzhu said honestly. The magic origin fruit, a dimensional treasure, drifts in dimensional gaps, absorbing some laws of dimensions it approaches. Hence, the magic origin fruit itself contains fundamental laws of different dimensions. Such a treasure significantly replenishes the Eye of Myriad Laws. Naturally, around where the magic origin fruit grows, dimensional creatures often emerge. Dimensional creatures are born within dimensional gaps, endowed with innate strength. Furthermore, outside the dimensions, the invincible great saints from the chaos void can't exert significant strength, unable to leverage the chaos void's power. Therefore, despite the Eye of Myriad Laws inviting over a dozen invincible great saints to obtain the magic origin fruit, they still faced immense resistance. As long as the magic origin fruit can be obtained, I will express my gratitude profoundly. The Eye of Myriad Laws told Great Saint Feng Zhu. Since the Myriad Laws Senior says so, I will surely exert all my efforts. Feng Zhu nodded. Eye of Myriad Laws has gone through numerous cosmic eras. Its promises of gratitude would even appeal to invincible great saints. At this moment, buzz, a subtle wave slowly transmitted from outside the dimensional gap. The previously fixed dimensional rift began to slowly shrink. Not good. It's the dimensional tide. The Eye of Myriad Laws' gaze slightly changed. Dimensional rifts in the chaos void cannot persist indefinitely. They will occasionally restore or appear, affected by external environmental influences. Currently, a dimensional tide has arisen, impacting this dimensional rift, and it is about to completely close. Trouble. Great Saint Feng Zhu's expression darkened. Once this dimensional rift before their eyes closes and heals, the time needed for this area to reopen a dimensional rift again is unknown. 1,000 cosmic eras? 10,000 cosmic eras? It's all possible. By that time, Great Saint Feng Zhu was estimated to have already reached the 13th tier. Compared to Great Saint Feng Zhu, Eye of Myriad Laws was equally anxious. Regardless of how long the cosmic era might last, Eye of Myriad Laws could wait. However, Eye of Myriad Laws could not guarantee whether the magic origin fruit would still be here the next time this dimensional gap opened. The magic origin fruit drifted between different dimensions. If missed this time, it was likely to drift far away, and Eye of Myriad Laws would practically lose the opportunity to obtain it. The dimensional gap will take time to heal even if it closes, roughly 3 days before it fully heals. Eye of Myriad Laws carefully observed, then looked at Great Saint Feng Zhu. As long as we pick the magic origin fruit within 3 days. 3 days. Great Saint Feng Zhu naturally understood what Eye of Myriad Laws meant. Impossible. Great Saint Feng Zhu shook his head. That small continent has only been explored to its outskirts, and merely bypassing the dimensional creatures on the outskirts is difficult enough. To reach the core area and pick the magic origin fruit within just 3 days and then retreat safely, I can't do it. Great Saint Feng Zhu said. It's not a matter of cost. It's simply impossible. I understand. Eye of Myriad Laws was silent for a moment, also recognizing that picking the magic origin fruit within 3 days was unreasonable. Magic origin fruit. Eye of Myriad Laws looked at the dimensional crack again, which was shrinking visibly. Forget it. Eye of Myriad Laws made a decision in his heart. In a certain desolate void, Lin Yuan's true self sat cross-legged, following the drift of chaos qi. At this moment, the power of space-time converged to form a gigantic eye. Eye of Myriad Laws? Lin Yuan glanced at the Eye of Myriad Laws and said casually, "What do you want from me?" The connection with Eye of Myriad Laws ran deep, so he was not surprised that the other could find him. Great Saint Galaxy. Eye of Myriad Laws showed a humble demeanor, unlike when dealing with Great Saint Feng Zhu. There is something I want to ask for your help with, Eye of Myriad Laws said. Speak. Lin Yuan looked at Eye of Myriad Laws.
Moments later.
You want me to go outside a dimensional gap and retrieve that magic origin fruit? Lin Yuan understood Eye of Myriad Laws' intention. Yes. That magic origin fruit is very important to me. Eye of Myriad Laws nodded. Retrieving the magic origin fruit within 3 days was an impossible task even for an exceptional great saint. After much thought, Eye of Myriad Laws believed only Lin Yuan had a chance to complete this task. A short time ago, Lin Yuan had exhibited his power, being acknowledged by Eye of Myriad Laws and other special entities as the strongest among the invincible great saints in history. You need to think clearly. Lin Yuan looked at Eye of Myriad Laws with a calm tone. At that time, you spread the martial arts evolution road offshoot for me. in exchange for asking me one favor in the future. Are you sure you want to use that request for this? Eye of Myriad Laws, upon hearing this, fell into thought once again. Actually, the most valuable approach to this request is to wait until Lin Yuan steps into the 13th tier to make it. But who knows if Lin Yuan will ever reach the 13th tier? If he doesn't, wouldn't it be a waste? There are many invincible great saints throughout history, but very few have ultimately become time lifeforms. And right now, that magic origin fruit is crucial to Eye of Myriad Laws. Missing this opportunity would mean losing the chance. Great Saint Galaxy, I'm sure. After careful consideration, Eye of Myriad Laws replied earnestly. All right. Lin Yuan nodded. He then asked, what is the situation outside the dimensional gap? Pretty dangerous. Even for a normal invincible great saint, retrieving the magic origin fruit within 3 days is very difficult. Eye of Myriad Laws explained truthfully. In this aspect, he dared not hide anything. Is there a 13th tier existence? Lin Yuan asked differently. A 13th tier existence? Eye of Myriad Laws was slightly taken aback.
No.
Eye of Myriad Laws responded immediately. What a joke.
A 13th tier existence?
If there were a 13th tier existence beside the magic origin fruit, no matter how much he desired it, he wouldn't dare have any thoughts. Moreover, near the chaos void, the appearance of a 13th tier lifeform would inevitably be noticed by the time lifeforms within that chaos void. Absolutely not. Eye of Myriad Laws assured Lin Yuan. He thought Lin Yuan was worried he was being led to certain death. I understand. Lin Yuan nodded and said, I will dispatch a clone to enter that dimensional gap and retrieve the magic origin fruit for you. Thank you, Galaxy. Eye of Myriad Laws was about to express gratitude. Suddenly, he froze. A clone? A single clone? Great Saint Galaxy, the situation outside the dimensional gap is still very dangerous. Can just sending a clone suffice? Eye of Myriad Laws cautiously inquired. Eye of Myriad Laws greatly acknowledged Lin Yuan's strength, believing him to be the strongest invincible great saint in history. But just a single clone? It's enough. Lin Yuan glanced at Eye of Myriad Laws. Now, a single clone of his could exhibit strength akin to the Abyss Dragon, and all the invincible great saints in the history of Chaos Void combined probably couldn't defeat one of his clones. Moreover, Lin Yuan's true self continued to oversee the situation. Lin Yuan was indeed anticipating who, with his current strength, could possibly obstruct him if the 13th tier time lifeforms don't appear. Even if the mysterious dimensional gap really harbors an opponent equal to himself. Chapter 1281. Infinite Void, 5th Layer. In the vast desolate void, Lin Yuan drifted along with the thin chaos chi. Except for entities like the Eye of Myriad Laws that had deeper causal sensing with Lin Yuan. Other powerful beings, even if passing nearby, couldn't perceive Lin Yuan in the slightest. Lin Yuan's form and spirit seemed to merge as one with endless chaos chi and the vast void. That dimension rift? Lin Yuan casually glanced in a certain direction. He had already condensed an avatar to proceed. Regarding dimension rifts, Lin Yuan was still quite cautious. The Shenhuang obtained the 13th level weapon Sky Void Tripod from a dimension rift. Within that dimension rift, even the Shenhuang almost got seriously injured despite his invincible great saint power, showing the danger of dimension rifts. Lin Yuan's current strength certainly far surpassed the Shenhuang at that time, but he wouldn't be careless. Sending only an avatar was both confidence in himself and primarily a probe. Even if hidden within that dimension rift, there was danger unnoticed by the Eye of Myriad Laws. At most, Lin Yuan would lose an avatar. A thought would be enough to condense another. No impact on himself whatsoever. I hope everything goes smoothly, Lin Yuan thought to himself. Even if the Eye of Myriad Laws guaranteed, in case Lin Yuan didn't retrieve that magic origin fruit. Just taking action would mean the causal ties between the two were settled. But Lin Yuan naturally hoped for things to go smoothly. After all, the Eye of Myriad Laws saved him quite a lot of trouble back then. Without the Eye of Myriad Laws, even with Lin Yuan's current strength, wanting to spread branches of the martial arts evolution road would require a tremendous amount of effort and time, and the outcome wouldn't necessarily match that of the Eye of Myriad Laws. Even those as powerful as the invincible Great Saint can only overlook certain eras and ultimately must strive for the 13th level. Yet, special existences like the Eye of Myriad Laws are almost eternally enduring. As long as the Chaos Void doesn't perish, they can exist indefinitely. Is the fourth layer of Infinite Void almost mastered? Lin Yuan's mind moved slightly, separating an avatar of awareness to descend into his internal universe. The vast internal universe boundlessly stretched, at this moment on the verge of completing some transformation. Stop! Lin Yuan immediately halted the final transformation of Infinite Void. The Infinite Void legacy I cultivate was created by a time life of the Chaos Void, using Chaos Void as the ultimate goal. Cultivating theoretically to the 7th layer means the internal universe can transform into an existence equivalent to the Chaos Void in scale. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Of course, the so-called 7th layer, even the time life who created this legacy did not cultivate up to. If truly cultivating the 7th layer, it would count as powerful even among the 13th level. Even without becoming the Time Lord, it would be close. In the second source world, the pursuit of the Master of Wushan is to paint a source world. Once accomplished, one can stand among the Time Lords, while the Infinite Void legacy aims to nurture a Chaos Void. Though the processes differ, the ultimate goals pursued by both are similar. If I had never descended into the first source world or the second, I might consider this legacy flawless, as it originated from a great time life. Their insight and vision how can be wrong? But Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. Having experienced 2 source worlds, Lin Yuan realized that even time lives are not necessarily correct. For example, this Infinite Void legacy isn't wrong per se, but is the internal universe nurtured comparable to the Chaos Void really perfect? Even the Chaos Void itself is imperfect, requiring time lives to establish special places to complement it. How could the internal universe modeled after the Chaos Void be perfect? It's just that the time life who founded this legacy only had access to the dimension space of Chaos Void. Without other more perfect dimension spaces for reference, they failed to realize this. Even if time lives can travel through dimensional rifts, wanting to explore other dimension spaces, very difficult. Firstly, they can't find them. Secondly, even if they do find them, they would face intense repulsion from the dimension space itself. Additionally, they would encounter obstruction from the 13th level time life born in this dimension space. Like other dimension time lives wanting to approach the Chaos Void would naturally face obstruction from the Chaos Void's time lives. But Lin Yuan is different. With the help of the Myriad Realms Gate, he can silently integrate into the worlds within each dimension space. There's even 2 source worlds more perfect than the Chaos Void. In the first source world, Lin Yuan observed the origin source operation and the micro-source world nurtured inside the Abyss Dragon's heart. His understanding and insight into that source world surpassed even the Chaos Void. In the second source world, Lin Yuan understood the semi-finished eternal painting drawn by the Master of Wushan, which depicts that source world. Furthermore, the Lord of Heaven Light's understanding of the rune Omni. Lin Yuan also gained profound insights, although not entirely understood about the second source world's basic operation and essence. It certainly surpassed any carefree third realm strongman of that world. My internal universe. The final transformation must not pursue Chaos Void. Lin Yuan thought silently, pursuing Chaos Void as the final direction. Whether he could become a Time Lord is uncertain. Taking the myriad realms and endless dimensional dimensions as the foundation, this is the direction my internal universe will transform towards. In Lin Yuan's mind flashed bits and pieces of the first source world and the second source world, especially their essential operations, starting to slowly integrate them into his own internal universe. Chapter 1282. Infinite Void, 5th Layer, 2. These matters must be completed before mastering the Infinite Void 4th rank. Only then can a foundation be laid before the inner universe's groundwork is set, to facilitate the continual fusion of more source world essences in the future. The reason why a source world is called a source world is that it is more perfect than other worlds of the same level, closer to true perfection. My inner universe absorbing the essence of a source world will also be closer to perfection, with the hope of eventually becoming perfect. A perfect world? That is a world that only a 14th rank perfect time being can establish. Once my inner universe transforms to true perfection, the distance to becoming a 14th rank perfect time being may not be far. Of course, this is just Lin Yuan's speculation. To truly become a 14th rank perfect time being, Lin Yuan does not have much clue. A perfect time being can freely roam the timeline, existing in the past, present, and future, and can even create the future they desire. Such a level of life is beyond the imagination of ordinary beings. The master of Wushan's ultimate pursuit was merely to draw a picture of the source world and become a time lord. As for becoming a perfect time being, Lin Yuan's only knowledge is that the premise of a perfect time being is perfection. If the inner universe truly reaches perfection, could he be close to being a perfect time being? Take it slow. Lin Yuan continuously integrates the essence of the two source worlds into his inner universe. Currently, a perfect time being is still too distant for him, as he isn't even a time being. Rumble. The inner universe continuously roars. The essence is being transformed. This transformation is different from the infinite void reconstruction. It is the fundamental existence being changed. Like an iron knife versus a gold knife. Only a few hundred breaths passed. The fundamental operation of the two source worlds completely merged into the inner universe. In fact, Lin Yuan had long begun preparing to take the advantages and perfection of the two source worlds and integrate them into his own inner universe. Now taking action, it is naturally fast. Enter the infinite void 5th rank. Lin Yuan carefully perceived for a while and began the final transformation of his inner universe. The infinite void 5th rank is a turning point. Normally, cultivators advancing to the 5th level of this legacy have the power of an invincible great saint. Lin Yuan integrated the fundamental operational advantages of the two source worlds before mastering the 5th layer. As the inner universe underwent its final transformation, an invisible aura began to sweep over. Before long, the inner universe completed its transformation. The inner universe after fusion and advancing to the infinite void 5th rank. Lin Yuan again felt an increase in his own strength. Now, even as merely a manifestation, can I rival the Abyss Dragon? Lin Yuan thought silently to himself. The manifestation has not been cultivated, but the inner universe is normally opened. No match for the boundless inner universe of the true self. The inner universe fused with the advantages of the two source worlds to perfection, along with advancing to the infinite void 5th rank. Naturally, the power of the manifestation surged, completely reaching the level of the Abyss Dragon. A manifestation equal to an Abyss Dragon? Lin Yuan slightly shook his head, reminiscing about the initial establishment of the first source world, which gathered endless creation and causes to birth an Abyss Dragon. Now, a casually formed manifestation can reach this domain. Just right. The hope of retrieving the magic origin fruit is even greater. Lin Yuan felt pleased. Inner universe. Beside the jade gourd, the red-clad girl was swinging her legs. At this moment, an inexplicable wave swept over. What is this? The red-clad girl jumped up immediately. Entered the infinite void 5th rank? The red-clad girl's eyes widened, full of amazement. Even though she already knew Lin Yuan would reach this level, it was just a matter of time. Yet when this day truly arrived, it was still somewhat unbelievable. The cultivation speed is really too fast. Infinite Void is a 13th rank inheritance. Not everyone can cultivate to the 5th level. Even passing the initial test, highly compatible with this inheritance, those who can reach the 5th level are exceedingly rare. Generally, among hundreds of inheritance cultivators, only one may reach the 5th level. But Lin Yuan? For Lin Yuan, it's not a matter of whether he can reach the 5th level. Rather, it's the unimaginable speed of reaching the 5th level, making the red-dressed girl's understanding start to shatter. No way! Suddenly, the red-dressed girl's expression changed. although the aura sweeping from within her universe is very similar to crossing into the fifth level of infinite void. Yet, after careful feeling, the red-dressed girl confirmed that this was different from the normal fifth level of infinite void. Similar yet different. How is that possible? The red-dressed girl couldn't believe it. Don't worry. Lin Yuan's figure condensed not far away, smiling at the red-dressed girl. I just modified the infinite void inheritance a bit. Originally, infinite void pursued the chaos void as the ultimate goal. Now the ultimate pursuit has changed to aspire for a higher perfect world, naturally requiring revision of the cultivation method in between. Modify. The red-dressed girl fell into deeper silence. This 13th rank inheritance, the masterpiece of a time being, is mostly unsurpassed in every aspect. Even other time beings could not necessarily modify it, but Lin Yuan just modified it. What made the red-dressed girl even more incredible was that the modified fifth level of infinite void faintly gave her a more magnificent, deeper feel. This was different from Lin Yuan's previous integration of other 13th rank skills. This modification was from the inheritance's foundation, fundamentally something else. Indeed, I think the current infinite void is more suited to me, Lin Yuan said with a smile. Only the secret technique inheritance created by oneself can perfectly fit. As for secret technique inheritances created by others, even for great 13th rank beings, it couldn't perfectly fit every life. Can only relatively fit. The red-dressed girl's heart felt somewhat confused, but she nodded. At the edge of chaos void, in front of an increasingly narrowing dimensional rift, a dozen figures stood not far away, gazing from afar at that dimensional rift. These dozen figures were supreme saints, invited by the Eye of Myriad Laws to enter the dimensional rift to retrieve the magic origin fruit. However, now, all the expressions of these supreme saints were immensely grave. The dimensional rift was rapidly closing, yet their main battle bodies hadn't withdrawn and were still battling dimensional life on that small continent within the rift. The environment within the dimensional gap was drastically different from within the chaos void. Even for supreme saints, they would be greatly suppressed in such a strange environment. This dimensional rift will completely close in at most 3 days. Within 3 days, if our main battle bodies can't return. One of the supreme saints couldn't help but speak. Compared to chaos void, the dimensional gap was extremely dangerous. Life below the 13th rank faces the risk of death at any moment within the gap. Once this dimensional rift closes, it would mean the main battle bodies of these dozen supreme saints being completely trapped outside the chaos void, akin to total demise. Early or late it would happen. Even for supreme saints, cultivating a main battle body is no easy task, requiring dedication. Feng Zhu, did you tell Myriad Laws about it? That magic origin fruit is very hard to take away. Why not let us retreat? The second supreme saint spoke. The dimensional rift would close within 3 days, and within these 3 days, the hope of taking back the magic origin fruit was nearly zero. In such a case, the supreme saints naturally were reluctant to continue fighting on that small continent and considered withdrawing their main battle bodies. This way, the losses would be minimized. Myriad Laws said that other saints have been invited for support. There is still hope. Great Saint Feng Zhu spoke. He had the closest relationship with the Eye of Myriad Laws, knowing many things in advance. Other saints? The native life forms on that small continent outside the rift are extremely ferocious. No matter how many saints invited, it's hard to retrieve the magic origin fruit within 3 days. The first supreme saint who spoke whispered, Feng Zhu, which saint did Myriad Laws invite? The third supreme saint inquired, believing that the Eye of Myriad Laws had confidence since it hadn't given up. As these words were spoken, all the other supreme saints collectively looked at Great Saint Feng Zhu. Myriad Laws said, invited. Great Saint Feng Zhu scanned the numerous saints and slowly said, the Galactic Saint, Chapter 1283. Is this an avatar? Galactic Sage. More than 10 supreme sages couldn't help but shudder at these 4 words. Galactic Sage? The contemporary invincible sage, the Galactic Sage? The galactic sage should belong to the type of great sage who emerged out of nowhere, having made few appearances before demonstrating the power of an invincible sage. However, the galactic sage became an invincible sage who dominated the chaos void through just one brief battle. That battle made many supreme sages not even dare to have the thought of competing with the galactic sage. Outside the galactic chaos continent, two supreme sages jointly descended. But in front of the galactic sage, they couldn't even resist and dissipated instantly? Who could withstand such a method? With the end of that crushing battle, more and more information was released. For instance, it wasn't just two supreme sages involved, but also an imprint of the Luo Ho Great Sage. Luo Ho Great Sage was a long-renowned supreme sage, allegedly having mastered a certain 13th level legacy. He possessed the power of a conventional invincible sage. Yet in front of the galactic sage he also melted like snow. This is simply unimaginable. There's also another rumor. Originally, Luo Ho Great Sage planned to sweep through the chaos void to prove the name invincible. But because of Lin Yuan's intervention, this idea was completely extinguished, leading him to directly pursue the 13th level. Galactic Sage. Could myriad laws actually invite the galactic sage? A supreme sage couldn't help but say. Since that battle, countless powerhouses have visited the galactic sage. Chaos Great Sage, Supreme Sage, even unique entities like the Eye of Myriad Laws. However, the galactic sage seemed very reluctant to engage with unique entities, never having met any visiting unique entity. With the galactic sage's power, since he did not wish to meet them, those unique entities had no choice but to quietly leave. These unique entities cannot directly intervene. This is a rule set by the life of time, so they are very humble when facing supreme sages sweeping through the chaos void. Moreover, these unique entities see much further and deeper than supreme sages and deduce that Lin Yuan is not just an invincible sage but the strongest invincible sage born from the chaos void. With such power, unless the unique entities are crazy, they naturally dare not provoke him. Myriad Laws has his own methods. Great Saint Fengzhu didn't know how the Eye of Myriad Laws managed to invite the galactic sage. But since the Eye of Myriad Laws told him so, he must have truly invited him. However, Great Saint Fengzhu thought for a moment and continued. Myriad Laws said the galactic sage only sent an avatar. An avatar? Many supreme sages were slightly taken aback. No matter how much they admired the galactic sage's power, it was just an avatar. The invincible sage ultimately remains at the 12th level, so how strong could a casually conjured avatar be? It might not even be comparable to a supreme sage. No matter how strong the galactic sage is, sending just an avatar to retrieve the source fruit within 3 days. Isn't that a bit arrogant? Since the galactic sage does so, he must have assurance. Great Saint Fengzhu looked at all the supreme sages and spoke. He also found it incredible when he first heard this news. But on second thought, given the galactic sage's level, there must be his considerations. It's not something they, as supreme sages, can grasp. Since the galactic sage acts in this manner, he must be confident. And with the galactic sage's status, since he agreed to help the Eye of Myriad Laws, how could he handle it lightly? If he was unwilling, he could just refuse. Indeed, many supreme sages suddenly realized. Thinking it over, they agreed with this notion. I speculate that the galactic sage sent only an avatar to first check the depths outside the dimensional rift, and once he confirms there is no threat, his true form will descend to sweep in and retrieve the source fruit. Great Saint Fengzhu shared his speculation. The dimensional rift is fraught with danger. Even the invincible sage cannot guarantee a safe retreat. The galactic sage is prudent, first sending an avatar to the rift to ensure there's no problem before deploying his true form, which is foolproof. Once these words were spoken, the other supreme sages nodded repeatedly. Indeed, this explanation made perfect sense. With the galactic sage's intervention, there is a great chance of retrieving the source fruit within 3 days. The supreme sages wore smiles on their faces. They were invited by the Eye of Myriad Laws partly as a favor, but if they managed to retrieve the source fruit successfully, the Eye of Myriad Laws would surely offer more rewards. At the level of Supreme Sage, most of Chaos Void's rare treasures hold little use. But the precious rewards offered by the Eye of Myriad Laws are definitely satisfactory for the Supreme Sages. This time, we can witness the means of the Galactic Sage's true form. A Supreme Sage was filled with anticipation. Among all the invincible sages born in the history of the Chaos Void, the Galactic Sage was undoubtedly the most mysterious, and even he had rarely showcased his power. Suddenly, at this moment, the power of space-time gathered, forming a figure not far from the dozen Supreme Sages. Is the Galactic Sage here? The Supreme Sages were excited, all turning toward that figure. The figure was a young man, with both hands behind his back, a faint yin-yang taiji mark spinning between his brows. Is this just an avatar of the Galactic Sage? A Supreme Sage was shocked, for even just an avatar gave them immense pressure, a pressure stemming from his grasp of spacetime. As expected of the Galactic Sage, Great Saint Feng Zhu marveled inwardly, realizing he had underestimated the Galactic Sage's power. With his perception, he felt that even he might not be able to defeat this avatar standing before him. In other words, a single avatar of the Galactic Saint is comparable to an absolute saint? This kind of existence likely hasn't appeared in the history of the Chaos Void. Is this the dimensional rift? Lin Yuan took a step forward, appearing before more than a dozen absolute saints, and casually said, "Yes. The magic origin fruit that Myriad Laws desires is on the small continent outside the rift." Great Saint Feng Zhu's heart tightened, and he immediately gave an overview of the situation. He particularly emphasized the dimensional beings born on that small continent outside the rift. These beings are inherently powerful, instinctually affecting space and time, and combined with fighting on home ground, even an absolute saint finds it tricky to face a large group of them, not daring to confront them head-on. Galactic Saint, our main battle bodies are inside. We can join forces then, Great Saint Feng Zhu quickly said. The main battle bodies of more than a dozen absolute saints are now on that small continent. Understood. Lin Yuan nodded. Once again he took a step forward, entering the dimensional rift. In another location, the Eye of Myriad Laws also observed the dimensional rift from afar. The incarnation of the galaxy has arrived? Such speed, was it nearby? The Eye of Myriad Laws looked towards Lin Yuan's incarnation. I didn't expect that now. I can't even gauge the depth of the galaxy's avatar. The Eye of Myriad Laws shook his head. A long time ago, he couldn't perceive Lin Yuan's true form. Now he couldn't even see through the avatar. In the vision of the Eye of Myriad Laws, even if it's just an avatar of Lin Yuan, it influences the surrounding spacetime Great Tao like a black hole. That little guy from back then has grown to this point. The Eye of Myriad Laws was equally amazed. When he first met Lin Yuan, the latter wasn't even in the Chaos Realm. Most regions of the dimensional gap are dim and dark. After Lin Yuan's avatar entered the dimensional rift, he quickly saw the small continent nurturing the magic origin fruit. The continent was only as large as a void domain, but because it was detached from the Chaos Void environment within the dimensional gap, it was difficult to utilize any Tao rules or overcome some inexplicable suppression, making it challenging even for an absolute saint to instantaneously traverse the continent to retrieve that magic origin fruit. Galactic Saint. Galactic Saint. The main battle bodies of the absolute saints immediately approached. Galactic Saint, the magic origin fruit is there, Great Saint Feng Zhu said, and Lin Yuan looked in the direction. He saw a tree swaying in the depths of the small continent. The tree appeared dark, with vague undulations of Tao rules, and a fist-sized fruit hung from the branches. Magic origin fruit. Lin Yuan understood. Because the magic origin fruit absorbs the laws and principles of different dimensional spaces, it is very useful for the Eye of Myriad Laws, which is based on the path of roads. The so-called laws and principles are the evolutionary path breadths of different dimensional spaces. Galactic Saint, the closer you get to the magic origin fruit, the more numerous those dimensional beings become. Currently, we are only on the periphery. Great Saint Feng Zhu explained. Lin Yuan also observed those indigenous dimensional beings on the small continent. In fact, during his previous travels in the boundless void, Lin Yuan had also encountered these dimensional beings. However, those beings were incredibly weak, having been captured into the void secret realm of the boundless void. Hence they were also called void creatures. It's manageable. Lin Yuan nodded. After only a few glances, Lin Yuan roughly discerned the strength of these dimensional beings. Indeed, they are very strong. Even a regular invincible great saint would have difficulty forcibly retrieving the magic origin fruit from so many dimensional beings within 3 days. Galactic Saint, what should we do now? Great Saint Feng Zhu asked. The remaining dozen absolute saints obediently followed orders. Originally, this group of absolute saints was led by Great Saint Feng Zhu. But with the arrival of the Galactic Saint, everything naturally followed his lead. You don't need to do anything. Lin Yuan glanced at the many absolute saints and casually said, I'll take action myself and just retrieve the magic origin fruit directly. All right. Great Saint Feng Zhu was shocked, but considering the power of the Galactic Saint, he chose to believe him. When will the true form of the Galactic Saint descend? Great Saint Feng Zhu inquired. The other absolute saints were filled with excitement. They also wanted to see the true form of the Galactic Saint descend, suppress these indigenous dimensional beings, and ultimately retrieve the magic origin fruit. True form. Lin Yuan smiled and said, That's not necessary. In the next moment, under the incredulous gaze of more than a dozen absolute saints, Lin Yuan extended his hand. Whoosh! The palm was vast, like the falling sky, reaching towards the deepest part of the small continent. During this, the indigenous dimensional beings rose to challenge the sky-covering hand, roaring, but were ultimately silently annihilated. In merely an instant, the small tree bearing the magic origin fruit, along with its large rooted area of land, was grasped by the enormous hand and brought before Lin Yuan. Done! Lin Yuan looked at the tree with the magic origin fruit in his hand and smiled. The dozen absolute saints felt their minds turning to mush as they watched Lin Yuan smilingly examine the magic origin fruit tree in his hand. A thought involuntarily arose in their minds. Is this really just an avatar? Chapter 1284. Magic Origin Fruit Tree. The great Saint Feng Zhu and other peerless great saints appeared dazed. Before Lin Yuan made his move, they envisioned countless possibilities. There was the possibility of the Galaxy Great Saint directly storming into the small continent, sweeping through the various dimensional native beings, and ultimately plucking the magic origin fruit, retreating with them safely. Or the Galaxy Great Saint using the space-time rule insights to instantly appear beside the magic origin fruit tree and leave with the fruit before the numerous dimensional native beings could react. Or the Galaxy Great Saint employing special means to suppress all dimensional native beings in a short time and then easily taking the magic origin fruit. And so on. They had considered various possibilities. But the premise of all these possibilities was that the Galaxy Great Saint would undoubtedly deploy his true self. After all, compared to the true self, an incarnation is much weaker. Even if one has incredible means and insights into the rules, a weak physical and mental state cannot perform them. But now, the scene of the Galaxy Great Saint reaching out to grasp the entire magic origin fruit tree was performed by an incarnation. This left all the peerless great saints somewhat silent. The scene was too unimaginable. Could an incarnation be this powerful? Or what level of true self would allow for an incarnation so easily formed to be this strong? Where is this? The magic origin fruit tree was uprooted and suddenly awakened. As a rare treasure born of the dimensional gap, the magic origin fruit tree itself possessed a certain level of intelligence, even secretly influencing the many dimensional native beings on the small continent. Otherwise, with the preciousness of the magic origin fruit tree, it would have long been divided and devoured by those dimensional native beings, before the eye of myriad laws even discovered it. But at this moment, the magic origin fruit tree, which had a decent capacity for self-preservation, was shivering, its leaves trembling uncontrollably. The dimensional gap is boundlessly mysterious, where 13th-tier time life forms are colossal beings capable of roaming through the gaps. There are also some life forms below the 13th tier, all birthed from the dimensional gap, whose power in such a harsh environment is far more potent than those born in the Chaos Void. The magic origin fruit tree itself belonged to this category, and to it, the actions of the great Saint Fengzhu and other peerless great saints seemed like child's play. Even if the fissure connecting to the Chaos Void didn't close in 3 days, the great Saint Fengzhu and other peerless great saints would still fail to pluck the magic origin fruit. Originally, the magic origin fruit tree planned to wait until the great Saint Fengzhu and other peerless great saints delved deeper before making a move to consume them. Unexpectedly, Lin Yuan arrived. Too powerful. Is this a life born within a dimensional space? The magic origin fruit tree trembled with fear. Throughout its drifting in the dimensional gap, it had encountered numerous terrifying beings. But compared to Lin Yuan, the difference was colossal. Lin Yuan reshaped its understanding of life below the 13th tier. Chaos Void. The Eye of Myriad Laws was closely monitoring the situation on the small continent, and naturally witnessed the moment Lin Yuan reached out and covered the sky. This power! The Eye of Myriad Laws couldn't believe it. Originally, he thought Lin Yuan sending an incarnation lightly was a bit arrogant. But to his surprise, even just an incarnation was this terrifying. The power of an incarnation exceeds all the invincible great saints in history. The Eye of Myriad Laws' thoughts spread. Although he was ecstatic about Lin Yuan obtaining the magic origin fruit, such terrifying strength left him unsettled for a long time. If not for the certainty that Lin Yuan hadn't yet reached the 13th tier, he might suspect whether a time life form had intervened. What kind of monster is this? The Eye of Myriad Laws gazed distantly, feeling deeply moved. Previously, he thought the reason he couldn't see through Lin Yuan's incarnation was some secret technique being used to obstruct him. But now, he realized it was simply because the incarnation was too powerful, surpassing his limit of perception. What level of power does the Galaxy Great Saint's true self possess? The Eye of Myriad Laws couldn't help but be curious, but he also realized he probably would never know. Just an incarnation possessed such power. Who in the Chaos Void could force the Galaxy Great Saint's true self to act with all his might? The spirits of those special places? Not to mention that the spirits of special places couldn't act. Even if they could, they likely wouldn't match the Galaxy Great Saint's incarnation now, let alone the true self of the Galaxy Great Saint. In the view of the Eye of Myriad Laws, only the 13th tier could force the Galaxy Great Saint's true self to act with full force. But the 13th tier time life forms were the least likely to take action. In fact, the 13th tier time life forms wouldn't even pay attention to things happening in the Chaos Void. Their eyes and minds were primarily focused on the distant future, as for the past and present. Only if an event occurred that affected the foundation of the Chaos Void. For instance, if a special place were completely destroyed. Otherwise, it's tough to draw the attention of time life forms of the 13th tier. I wonder if that person knew that the legacy left behind would cultivate an existence like the Galaxy Great Saint. The Eye of Myriad Laws pondered. That person he referred to was the founder of the Infinite Void and one of the time life forms of this Chaos Void. Over the long cosmic era, the Infinite Void had been passed down through various cultivators, and the Eye of Myriad Laws witnessed them all. But Lin Yuan? The combined strength of all cultivators who inherited the Infinite Void in history probably wouldn't withstand a single slap from the Galaxy Great Saint. More accurately, wouldn't withstand a single slap from the Galaxy Great Saint's incarnation. Very smooth. Lin Yuan reached out and retrieved the entire magic origin fruit tree without encountering any fierce resistance. Chapter 1285. Magic Origin Fruit Tree. At the moment his avatar acted, his true self was already focused here, prepared to intervene at any moment if unexpected situations arose. Dimensional Rift. Lin Yuan gazed into the vast dimensional rift. He has always held a sense of reverence for dimensional rifts. Within dimensional space, the rules of the Great Path operate, making it an ideal environment for cultivation, akin to a nurturing bed for life. Some dimensional spaces even offer great gifts to life. For instance, in the Chaos Void, the origin source infuses every life in this dimensional space with privileges that can be enjoyed. But the dimensional rift? The rules of the Great Path do not exist, and one must bear the oppression emitted by vast dimensional spaces. Creatures able to survive in the dimensional rift are very strong because the weak simply cannot withstand it. In fact, the dimensional rift is also the battlefield for all the 13th tier time life forms. 13th tier time life rarely fight within dimensional space, as it causes too much damage to the dimensional space itself. Thus, the battlefield for the 13th tier is in the dimensional rift. Only this vast space can endure the all-out combat among time life forms. This magic origin fruit tree? Lin Yuan looked at the magic origin fruit tree in his hand, his expression showing surprise. It actually developed spirit? Upon closer inspection, Lin Yuan keenly sensed the fluctuation of the spirit within the magic origin fruit tree itself. He had reached out and grabbed it earlier without thinking too much, just intending to test it first. Master! The magic origin fruit tree timidly sent out a wave of consciousness. Quite timid. Lin Yuan's face revealed a smile. He did not know that the magic origin fruit tree originally intended to devour great Saint Fengzhu and other supreme saints. Of course, even if he knew, Lin Yuan wouldn't mind too much. Under absolute power suppression, the magic origin fruit tree couldn't stir up much trouble. Take one magic origin fruit? You don't mind, do you? Lin Yuan gazed down at the magic origin fruit tree, speaking. I don't mind, I don't mind. The magic origin fruit tree immediately responded, I have many of these fruits. After saying that, the magic origin fruit tree's branches and leaves swayed. Numerous magic origin fruits quickly gathered, dangling between the branches and leaves. These so-called magic origin fruits are merely the manifestations of the magic origin fruit tree's aura. Basically, they are bait used to attract other life forms. All right, Lin Yuan nodded. He had promised the Eye of Myriad Laws to take back a magic origin fruit for him. Those dimensional creatures. Lin Yuan's gaze turned again towards that distant small continent. Earlier, when he grabbed the magic origin fruit tree, he also wiped out many dimensional creatures on the continent. Not like the boundless void which could enhance the spiritual will. It's well known that within the void secret realm of boundless void, killing those void creatures from the dimensional rift directly boosts one's spiritual will. What a pity! Lin Yuan slightly shook his head. He theorized two reasons. Firstly, it's because his spiritual will is now too high. The enhancement in spiritual will from killing these dimensional creatures has reached a null effect for him. Secondly, the reason why killing void creatures in the void secret realm of boundless void enhances spiritual will is due to the unique nature of that dimensional space. Each dimensional space has its unique traits, such as the origin source infusion in chaos void. Lin Yuan speculated that the second reason was the most likely, because if it were truly effective for gaining spiritual will by killing dimensional creatures, even if it's ineffective for him, other great saints would have noticed it long ago. Even if it has little effect on the great saints, many great saints would surely try capturing dimensional creatures for their offspring if that were the case. Yet Lin Yuan had never heard of such a thing. Then I shall return first. Lin Yuan packed away the magic origin fruit tree and looked at Great Saint Fengzhu and other supreme saints. All right. Great Saint Fengzhu immediately responded, promptly voicing. Having witnessed the power of Lin Yuan's avatar, the supreme saints present felt tremendous pressure. Chaos void. The Eye of Myriad Laws looked at the magic origin fruit the size of a fist in front of him, his gaze slightly excited. Many thanks to the galactic saint. The Eye of Myriad Laws looked at Lin Yuan, finding the acquisition of the magic origin fruit exceedingly smooth. The Eye of Myriad Laws had initially prepared for some complications, even with Lin Yuan, the most powerful invincible great saint in history, aiding him. Anything could happen in the dimensional rift. What if some mishap occurred? Unexpectedly, Lin Yuan's power was terrifying, and with just one avatar, he uprooted the magic origin fruit tree. It's a small matter. Lin Yuan smiled and said, I'll just keep that magic origin fruit tree. Naturally, the Eye of Myriad Laws immediately said, not asking Lin Yuan to return the magic origin fruit tree. Because taking the magic origin fruit is not the same difficulty as taking the whole tree. The dimensional creatures on that small continent were fiercely guarding the magic origin fruit tree. If only one magic origin fruit were taken, it might not provoke the ferocity of those dimensional creatures. But to take the whole tree, all the dimensional creatures on the small continent would probably fight desperately. In this scenario, even in the eye of Myriad Law's initial predictions, even Lin Yuan might not withstand it. Taking a single magic origin fruit might still allow for a safe retreat. Taking a whole magic origin fruit tree significantly reduces the chance of a safe retreat. The Eye of Myriad Laws was only interested in the magic origin fruit and naturally did not want to take such a big risk. In that case, I'll be going back first. Lin Yuan stood up, ready to leave. All right. The Eye of Myriad Laws looked at Lin Yuan. The evolutionary path branch of the Great Saint of the Galaxy is spreading very smoothly at the moment, and even if the Great Saint falls into a time loop, it will continue to spread with me around. Thank you. Lin Yuan smiled upon hearing this. After falling into a time loop, continuing to spread one's evolutionary path branch is certainly beneficial for anchoring the anchor. This statement by the Eye of Myriad Laws was also an attempt to curry favor with Lin Yuan. It's nothing, the Eye of Myriad Laws immediately said. With the foundations of the Great Saint of the Galaxy, even without spreading the evolutionary path branch, reaching the 13th stage wouldn't be difficult. This was indeed the heartfelt words of the Eye of Myriad Laws. The vast chaos void has birthed many 13th stage time beings. But Lin Yuan, since the opening of the chaos void, there's only been one such being. There has been none before, and likely none to come. The existence of Lin Yuan is even rarer than a 13th stage time being. It still needs to be spread. Lin Yuan smiled, then his figure disappeared. The Eye of Myriad Laws looked at where Lin Yuan vanished, falling into contemplation. At this moment he faintly regretted. Had he asked too early? Desolate void. Lin Yuan's true self sat cross-legged. At this moment, an avatar appeared. Not only understanding cause and effect this time, but also gaining something? A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face as he extended his right hand, with the magic origin fruit tree appearing between his palms. In fact, the so-called magic origin fruit is merely bait, casually condensed by the magic origin fruit tree with its breath. The most precious is still the magic origin fruit itself. My lord! The magic origin fruit tree was almost suffocated, experiencing a journey from heaven to hell again, from Lin Yuan's avatar to his true self. Compared to the avatar, Lin Yuan's true self gave it a much stronger sense of oppression. Put it into the internal universe. Lin Yuan slightly moved his thoughts, and the magic origin fruit tree was transferred to the internal universe. These rare wonders born from dimensional gaps also have a certain degree of feedback effect on the internal universe, at least stronger than the chaos tree. But the magic origin fruit tree hadn't yet reacted. It found itself in a boundless universe. This should be my lord's internal universe, thought the magic origin fruit tree. It had interacted with Great Saint Fengzhu and other unparalleled great saints, knowing about the internal universe.
No.
My lord's internal universe? The magic origin fruit tree just sighed in relief, thinking Lin Yuan putting it into the internal universe showed no malice. But immediately the magic origin fruit tree realized something was off. This internal universe? This internal universe. The magic origin fruit tree was incredulous. Perfect, so perfect. More perfect than this dimensional space? Drifting in the dimensional gap, having come into contact with many dimensional spaces, the largest being the chaos void. Yet at this moment, in the magic origin fruit tree's perception, even the vast chaos void couldn't compare to Lin Yuan's internal universe. Chapter 1286. Eternal Envoy. The magic origin fruit tree considered it inferior. It was not about size, magnitude, or heritage. If such aspects were the comparison, then the chaos void is undeniably the largest and most indisputable existence among the surrounding dimensional gaps. Even among dimensional spaces, there are distinctions of height, and the chaos void is undoubtedly the pinnacle of dimensional spaces. Lin Yuan's internal universe, in this regard, is still far from matching the chaos void. But aside from these, purely in terms of the perfection level of the spatial world, the magic origin fruit tree actually believed the chaos void was inferior to this internal universe. In terms of every detail of the rules and the operation of the great Tao, this internal universe is more complete. How is this possible? The magic origin fruit tree found it hard to believe. What kind of existence is the chaos void? It's already a colossal entity, plus each time being supplementary perfection. It has already reached some extreme. How could it be surpassed? This Lord. What is this Lord's origin? The magic origin fruit tree trembled inwardly. As the saying goes, blue is extracted from the indigo plant but surpasses it in blue. It generally doesn't appear in the world-nurturing domain. The world spaces that are nurtured by the chaos void already have their foundations set, essentially possessing no possibility of surpassing the chaos void. Yet Lin Yuan's internal universe broke this point, causing the magic origin fruit tree to have a deeper impact. For example, Lin Yuan's terrifying background, being a time being from another dimensional space, sneaking into the chaos void with some plan, to be able to silently integrate into a dimensional space like the chaos void, a time being must be at least at the level of a lord, which requires a great cost. Time Lord. The magic origin fruit tree's heart trembled. Even in the mysterious dimensional gaps, the actions at the Time Lord level are extremely rare. At least the magic origin fruit tree had once watched the skirmishes of time beings from afar. But Time Lord? The magic origin fruit tree had never even seen one. At the level of the Time Lord, they plot their own timeline, past, present, future as one, sealing their timeline, isolating everything, trying to impact the perfect realm. Such an existence might even have some abilities of a perfect time being, able to travel to the past, altering the past in a limited way. Of course, not reaching the 14th rank, even a Time Lord needs to pay a heavy price to change the past. Actually, by the 13th rank, the struggles between time beings no longer involve spatial ranges but rather gradually revolve around timelines. Plotting battles in the past, laying out strategies for future battles. This is the nature of time beings. Some time beings abandon the gains and losses of the present to plan for a successful future. The victories and defeats between time beings are not confined to the present but must stretch the timeline to view from a distant future. No wonder. The magic origin fruit tree suddenly realized. If Lin Yuan is a great Time Lord, then everything makes sense. Having such terrifying power, it being on a Time Lord seems much more reasonable. But a great Time Lord, paying a huge price to sneak into this dimensional space, what could be the plan? The magic origin fruit tree couldn't help but think. What could a Time Lord, at such a height, be willing to infiltrate for? Forget it. These are not things I can contemplate. The magic origin fruit tree shook its head. With the distant future seen by a Time Lord, there must be a profound meaning in doing so. As not even a time being, I cannot understand the Time Lord's scheme. This time for me, it might be a great opportunity. The magic origin fruit tree suddenly thought, being abducted by a Time Lord is not a bad thing, at least considered the tree of a Time Lord. The second Feng Yuan world, Qingyun's sacred mountain. The true self of Lin Yuan had long returned from the trial space opened by the master of Wushan. However, a manifestation was left there to continuously comprehend the inheritance left by the Lord of Heaven Light.
Rune Dao.
Sitting cross-legged, Lin Yuan concentrated his mind on understanding the Lord of Heaven Light's interpretation of the runes. Using spiritual power, qi and blood power, soul power and other forces to condense runes, is the simplest application of runes, and is also the most superficial understanding. The gentle light of the Lord of Heaven Light illuminated everywhere, with Lin Yuan earnestly comprehending. The original inheritance left by the Master of Wushan contained the imprint of the Lord of Heaven Light within. Utilizing this imprint is equivalent to directly facing the Lord of Heaven Light, which greatly aids in understanding this heritage. This is also the reason why the original inheritance is precious. Even the most precious replicated inheritance would slightly deviate from the Creator's original intent. The inheritance I created divides into 5 levels. The first level, the carrier of the rune, is no longer one's own power, but the heaven and earth, mountains and stones can all form runes. The second level, all tangible bodies, including all beings, can become the carrier of the rune, coagulating a rune. The third level, intangible things like the 7 emotions and 6 desires can also coagulate a rune. At this level, even if trapped in a time loop, without the direct use of rune Tao, it can also be used indirectly. The Lord of Heaven Light spoke with a gentle tone, like a kindly teaching teacher. The heaven and earth is a rune, tangible bodies are runes, the 7 emotions and 6 desires are also runes. In Lin Yuan's mind, many inspirations surged. Understanding of the runes is rapidly improving. Your Against Heaven's understanding allows you to comprehend the rune inheritance, greatly enhancing your perception of the rune Tao. With Lin Yuan's Against Heaven's understanding, it took only more than half a month to fully comprehend the third level. 7 emotions and 6 desires? Lin Yuan's mind stirred, and his anger was stripped away, forming a small rune. No wonder the Lord of Heaven Light is confident that comprehending the third level can help break through the time loop. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. Although he didn't know which kind of time loop he was trapped in, as long as there is life, there will inevitably be 7 emotions and 6 desires, which can thus become carriers for the runes. The power of blood and energy, soul power, spiritual power, and the power of the world universe may all be sealed and unusable, but the 7 emotions and 6 desires. Without them, is it still life? It's impossible that the time loop he is trapped in has no life whatsoever. Even if there are no other life forms, he himself is a life form and can produce the 7 emotions and 6 desires as carriers for the runes. Of course, within the time loop, even if you find a rune carrier, the power it ultimately exerts will significantly diminish, but at least it's no longer without any support. The fourth level. Lin Yuan looked towards the inheritance of the fourth level. He could understand the first 3 levels in a short period of time because of his Against Heaven's understanding and the eternal painting of the Master of Wushan. The latter gave him a general understanding of the rune Tao of this Feng Yuan world, and then he comprehended the inheritance left by the Lord of Heaven Light. With the enhancement of Against Heaven's understanding, his progress was naturally rapid. What are runes? They are everything. All that you see and feel can also become carriers of runes. The Lord of Heaven Light smiled, explaining to Lin Yuan carefully. All that you see and feel? Lin Yuan nodded. This encompassed a vast range, especially in a time loop. Perhaps in the time loop he is trapped in, life is scarce, with only him. In such a case, even if he can produce the 7 emotions and 6 desires, it is still very limited. And all that you see and feel? Anything seen and felt can become a carrier for the runes. The Lord of Heaven Light. Lin Yuan once again felt the terrifying power of this eternal Lord, while the Master of Wushan's pursuit was to paint a picture of the source world, whereas the Lord of Heaven Light pursued everything. Could such a powerful time being also be trapped? Or is it that they willingly allow themselves to be trapped? Lin Yuan's heart felt heavy. According to the test space spirit created by the Master of Wushan, all eternal lords, including him, were trapped. Only in this way could there be a faint chance of turning things around in the future. If they were not trapped, perhaps the eternal lords could survive. But the Feng Yuan world was destined for destruction, with no chance of reversal. It is precisely because of this that the Master of Wushan and other eternal lords actively chose to be trapped, their power sealed, unable to interfere with the world after the descent of the demon disaster. Continue comprehending. Lin Yuan collected his thoughts and began to comprehend the 4th level of the inheritance. Compared to the first 3 levels, the comprehension of the 4th level took Lin Yuan a little longer. However, with Lin Yuan's understanding, it was only a matter of time. In fact, many strong individuals have cultivated and comprehended the inheritance created by the Lord of Heaven Light. But most only stopped at the 1st level, the 2nd level. As for the 3rd level, since the spread of this inheritance, very few strong individuals have comprehended the 3rd level. No one has comprehended the 4th level. Not everyone has the accumulation and understanding like Lin Yuan. In the eyes of those powerful individuals in the realm of freedom, This inheritance is like a heavenly book. Even though they know comprehension is greatly beneficial to becoming an eternal lord, they still need to be able to comprehend it. Even strong as the eternal lords, a large part of them have not comprehended the fourth level. The main hall at the highest point of Qingyun Sacred Mountain. The sect master of the holy sect and the elders have been very pleased lately. Due to Lin Yuan's presence, the demons around Qingyun's Sacred Mountain have nearly disappeared. The sect master and the elders had many speculations about this at first, but after confirming it was Lin Yuan's doing, they suddenly relaxed. With Lin Yuan, the Qingyun Saint sect is as stable as Mount Tai, with no need to worry about being broken by those great demons. How could the sect master and elders not feel delighted? The demon disaster is widespread, and even though the holy sect and the supreme saint sect have perpetuated their legacy, they face overwhelming pressure all the time. The central eternal sect of the world is no exception. The eternal sect's foundation is unfathomable, with methods arranged in advance by the eternal Lord, but it faces even greater pressure. One source demon after another, even a demon god. Just then, the sect master's expression slightly changed, and on the distant high platform of the hall, a cyan rune slowly lit up. This rune can sense the message from the central eternal sect. Is there an eternal envoy arriving soon? The sect master's mind was shaken. It's been unknown how long since the last eternal envoy arrived. So long that the sect master thought there might be a great problem with the central eternal sect. Deep in the Qingyun Institute, upon learning that the eternal envoy was about to arrive, the sect master immediately informed Lin Yuan. Eternal envoy? The strong individuals dispatched by the eternal sect are coming. Lin Yuan looked at the sect master. Chapter 1287. Suspicion and Astonishment. According to reason, the imminent arrival of the eternal envoy is a top secret of the Qingyun Saint sect. After all, it involves the power of the eternal sect at the center of the world. In the rampant situation of the demonic threat, the fewer people know, the better. But the sect master of the holy sect is very aware that the safety of the entire Qingyun Saint sect now hinges on Lin Yuan. Eternal envoy. Compared to Lin Yuan's protection of the Qingyun Saint sect, what does the eternal envoy count for? The collective help of past eternal envoys does not surpass Lin Yuan sweeping away all the demons near the Qingyun Sacred Mountain. Therefore, between the eternal envoy and Lin Yuan, the sect master of the holy sect chose the latter without hesitation. He informed Lin Yuan of the imminent arrival of the eternal envoy without omission. Lin Yuan fell into brief contemplation. Actually, he did not have much aversion to the power of the eternal sect at the center of the world. His goals even coincide with those of the various eternal lords. The various eternal lords do not wish for this source world to be destroyed under the demonic threat. Lin Yuan also does not wish for that. All the heavens and myriad realms, endless dimensional planes. There are very few dimensional spaces that can reach the level of this source world. Such a world can completely become one of Lin Yuan's bases to counter unknown risks. The barriers between different dimensional planes are enough to isolate the attack perceptions of 13th level time beings. Even strong figures like the Time Lord find it difficult to cross. What matters will the eternal envoy bring over? Lin Yuan looked at the sect master of the holy sect and asked. Based on previous experiences with the arrival of eternal envoys, they generally investigate nearby demonic intelligence and share some rune secret skills to combat the demons. The sect master of the holy sect truthfully replied. Moreover, the envoys will enlist some sect experts, especially the talented disciples, to take back to the eternal sect at the center of the world for training. The sect master of the holy sect continued. The Qingyun Saint sect feels both anticipation and distress regarding the arrival of the eternal envoy. The rune secret skills shared by the eternal envoy are indeed very useful to the holy sect. However, taking away sect experts and talented disciples? It might cause the Qingyun Saint sect to face a gap risk. The life disciples originally nurtured within the small world inside the Qingyun Sacred Mountain have talents not equal to those outside. Are further extracted by the eternal sect. In the short term, it might not matter, but over time, the impact becomes extremely vile. Currently, there are only 3 or 4 experts at the peak of longevity 6th realm in the Qingyun Saint sect, far below the number before the great change of the world. The main reason is due to the rampant demonic threat, but the repeated enlistment by the Eternal Envoy also holds a significant impact. I see. Lin Yuan lightly nodded. There was nothing surprising. For holy sect forces like the Qingyun Saint sect, their utility to the eternal sect at the center of the world is just twofold. One is to distract more attention from the demons. The other is to serve as a reserve site for disciples. This is also the reason why the eternal sect sends envoys to support all the great holy sects. Without sufficient benefits, the forces of the eternal sect under the threat of multiple source demons are already self-absorbed. How could they be this charitable? Give me the rune used for contacting the forces of the eternal sect. Lin Yuan thought for a while and spoke. The demonic threat descends, and many means of contact will be suppressed. Lin Yuan is rather curious about the method the Eternal Envoy uses for directly connecting with all the great holy sects and locking down their specific positions. It is worth noting, over the long years, to evade stronger demons, the Qingyun Sacred Mountain has relocated 7 or 8 times. Yes. The sect master of the holy sect immediately took out a cyan rune and respectfully handed it to Lin Yuan. This rune, Lin Yuan carefully observed. From the surface, this cyan rune is a conventional rune. But within Lin Yuan's field of vision, this cyan rune is composed of billions of smaller runes. Each small rune is continuously rotating, interwoven and colliding with others of similar small runes, forming a subtle balance. Interesting, Lin Yuan assessed. The inheritance left by the Lord of Heaven Light, Lin Yuan has already started cultivating the 4th level. Everything perceived and known became runes, all could be utilized by him. At present, this cyan rune is exceedingly difficult and obscure, besides the corresponding experts of the Eternal Sect and the sect master of the Qingyun Saint sect. Outsiders simply cannot use it. Even the sect master of the Qingyun Saint sect can only use it roughly, to receive occasional messages transmitted by the envoys of the Eternal Sect. As for more, there is none. But in Lin Yuan's eyes, he was starting to swiftly take control of each small rune. Rustling. The next moment, the complete cyan rune suddenly disintegrated, forming billions of small runes, floating before Lin Yuan. Within a short time, the billions of small runes reunited, reforming that same cyan rune. Only now this cyan rune had been entirely mastered by Lin Yuan. The sect master of the holy sect watched the entire process, his heart filled with immense shock. Even though he did not know why the cyan rune dispersed, he could discern that the reformed cyan rune already differed from the previous one. If the initial cyan rune fundamentally belonged to the eternal sect, with at most slight usage rights for the sect master of the holy sect, then the current cyan rune has shifted from belonging to the eternal sect to belonging to Lin Yuan. But how is this possible? The cyan rune crafted by the eternal sect, as described by the previous eternal envoy, this kind of cyan rune was personally refined by the eternal Lord, serving as the ultimate means of communication between all the great holy sects and the eternal sect. Chapter 1288. Doubt and Astonishment. Is it just now? Has the technique created by the eternal Lord been deciphered by Lin Yuan? This left the sect master of the holy sect bewildered. Even in such a situation where demonic disasters are rampant, he never doubted the abilities of the Eternal Lord. These green runes from the Eternal Lord can be destroyed, but to be refined and taken over again like Lin Yuan, this has completely exceeded the sect master's understanding. In his opinion, achieving this feat would only be possible for another Eternal Lord of the same level. But Lin Yuan? Don't overthink it. I used a clever method. Lin Yuan glanced at the sect master of the holy sect and casually explained. If forced to refine the green runes, he wouldn't have the ability. But using the understanding of the essence of runes by the Lord of Heaven Light, what is seen and sensed is all runes, and can all be used by me. In this way, one can reorganize the runes and bypass the method of the Eternal Lord. Lin Yuan has practiced and comprehended the inheritance created by the Lord of Heaven Light, reaching the 4th level, on par with many eternal lords. Yes, the holy sect master composed himself and immediately responded with respect. Although Lin Yuan admitted he used a clever method. The holy sect master doesn't think so at all. Being able to overpower the eternal lord's method and refine and take over the green runes is a testament to one's power and realm. Clever? Even an eternal lord can resort to clever methods? How fortunate for our Qingyun Saint sect. The sect master couldn't help but think. The stronger Lin Yuan becomes, the happier he naturally is. After all, Lin Yuan still holds old feelings for the holy sect. Otherwise, he wouldn't have stayed in the holy sect for so long. With Lin Yuan's terrifying ability to kill a great demon as easily as squashing an ant. The rampant, demonic presence outside doesn't differ much from within the holy sect. The ferocious and violent demons, in front of Lin Yuan, are akin to ants. After taking over the green runes again, Lin Yuan naturally discovered the full uses of the green runes. For example, through the green runes, Lin Yuan sensed the specific location coordinates of other holy sects and even the Supreme Saint sect in this Feng Yuan world. Currently, there are a total of 892 holy sects inheriting, with just over 20 Supreme Saint sects remaining. Lin Yuan obtained the highest authority of the green runes, effortlessly detecting all holy sect information. Indeed, the damage is severe. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly, comparing to the number of holy sect forces before the great changes in the Feng Yuan world. The current holy sects and Supreme Saint sects have plummeted by more than 90%. In fact, among the nearly 900 holy sects and more than 20 Supreme Saint sects remaining, whether they still possess the foundation of a holy sect or Supreme Saint sect, is still uncertain. For instance, Qingyun Saint sect.
Nameneli a holy sect.
But it lost the presence of a powerhouse at the 3rd stage of liberation ages ago. Before the great changes in the world, it was no longer part of the holy sect. These locations of the holy sects, through the highest authority of the green runes, Lin Yuan easily locked them in. To ensure the inheritance in the demonic disaster environment, each holy sect is extremely hidden. Even Lin Yuan, unless close enough, finds it hard to discover. But with the help of the green runes, the position of each holy sect and Supreme Saint sect is detailed in Lin Yuan's eyes. Moreover, he can even grasp them timely, and if the other party moves now, he can detect the movement trajectory. I can send avatars to infiltrate these holy sects and Supreme Saint sects to obtain rune inheritances. Lin Yuan contemplated, as this was something he had always wanted to do but had postponed due to the inability to find the locations of the holy sects and Supreme Saint sects. But now, there is naturally no such problem. Even though it's just the rune inheritance of the holy sect, it holds certain reference value for Lin Yuan. This is Lin Yuan, using the green runes, detected several rapidly moving auras. Are they eternal envoys? Lin Yuan appeared contemplative. These moving auras differed entirely from those of the holy sect and Supreme Saint sect. They should be the soon-to-arrive eternal envoys. Now that Lin Yuan has completely taken over and refined the green runes, possessing highest authority, he is almost akin to the eternal lord, allowing him to sense many things, including the movements of the eternal envoys easily. Senior, how should we face the eternal envoys? The sect master of the holy sect asked softly, informing of the impending arrival of the eternal envoy, just to receive Lin Yuan's perspective. Lin Yuan's attitude is precisely the attitude of the Qingyun Saint sect. Welcome them as usual, Lin Yuan said. The eternal envoy will probably arrive about a year from now. Let me know when they come. Lin Yuan was quite curious about the current situation at the center of heaven and earth, and these could be understood from the mouth of the eternal envoy. The eternal envoy will arrive in a year? The sect master of the holy sect looked at Lin Yuan. He did not know the exact time the eternal envoy would arrive. Generally, after receiving the Cyan rune information, the eternal envoy would arrive in about 100 years. As for Lin Yuan being precise about a year later, yes, approximately around that time. Lin Yuan nodded. He deduced the arrival time of the eternal envoy at the Qingyun Saint sect by perceiving the location and speed through the Cyan runes. Of course, there could be discrepancies, such as encountering a formidable demon, which might cause delays, but the overall error wouldn't be too significant. Yes, the sect master of the Qingyun Saint sect respectfully withdrew. He had no doubt about Lin Yuan's words. The first Fang Yuan world. In the Fierce Sun capital, Lin Yuan sat there, facing the ancestor of Fierce Sun. Ancestor's fierce spirit drunken, indeed a fine wine. Lin Yuan sipped the wine gently, smiling as he spoke. Fierce spirit drunken is a fine wine personally brewed by the ancestor of Fierce Sun. Even a 13th tier temporal being would feel divine after a sip. Lin Yuan, though with a strong physique, would only dare drink a little at a time. Ha ha ha! The ancestor of Fierce Sun laughed heartily. The best wine in this world is precisely his brewed fierce spirit drunken. Only Lin Yuan among other ancestors would be served by the ancestor of Fierce Sun. How's your recent cultivation progress? The ancestor of Fierce Sun asked. Planning to take that step soon? There's no rush. Lin Yuan shook his head. Continue accumulating for a while. All right. The ancestor of Fierce Sun nodded. In the many future timelines concerning Lin Yuan that he saw, rarely did he immediately step forth. Ancestor, will this world face destruction? Lin Yuan asked casually, looking at the vast Fang Yuan world. Destruction? The ancestor of Fierce Sun pondered for a moment, nodded and said, naturally it will face destruction. Every world will inevitably face destruction. It's not complete destruction, but a new beginning will be nurtured. Hearing this, Lin Yuan nodded slightly. In the chaos void, each naturally formed universe will face immense destruction, subsequently reopening. This merely reflects the operational rules of numerous worldly realms. The source world is no exception. It is just far more perfect compared to the chaos void, with the time from birth to massive destruction far exceeding that of the chaos void. When this world faces destruction, we beings of time must leave, wandering in interdimensional spaces. The ancestor of Fierce Sun said, but that day is still far away. Yes, it's still far away. Lin Yuan nodded. The time since the opening of the first Fang Yuan world till now is far shorter than that of the second Fang Yuan world. The second Fang Yuan world. Demonic qi wafted around. 3 figures, their presence barely perceptible, tore through layers of demonic qi and continuously traversed towards a certain direction. These 3 figures kept their aura extremely concealed, and the spatio-temporal disturbances caused by their void travel were nearly non-existent. During each of their traverse, the 3 figures exchanged dialogues. Should we proceed towards the Qingyun Saint sect next? As the magic disaster descends, such a sect barely reaching the threshold would find it hard to survive. The 2 figures at the back, one male and one female, looked at the infinite demonic qi around them, their expressions slightly grave. These 3 figures were precisely the envoys from the eternal sect at the center of heaven and earth. At that moment, the foremost figure abruptly halted its traverse, vigilantly observing the surroundings. Something's wrong. The foremost figure was a middle-aged man with silver eyes, continuously observing the surroundings, his expression filled with suspicion. What's going on? The male and female following behind stopped as well. After observing for a while, they used telepathy to inquire. Haven't you noticed that there isn't a single respectable demon in this area? The longer the silver-eyed middle-aged man observed, the more suspicious his expression grew. Chapter 1289. Are you looking for me? 3 eternal envoys stood tall in the void. The surrounding space-time was distorted, concealing all their auras. To arrive here from the center of the world, the 3 eternal envoys not only had powers reaching the 3rd realm of freedom, they also mastered various methods to conceal their presence. Without the latter, if they encountered the source demon unexpectedly, even in the 3rd realm of freedom as strong as an eternal sun, they would be exhausted just trying to escape alive. Something's amiss. After a warning from the silver-eyed middle-aged man, the man and woman behind him also became alert. They hadn't realized this point in time because their range of investigation wasn't as broad as the silver-eyed middle-aged man. If there were only a few demons in a small range, it wouldn't be unusual. However, as the man and woman probed into a larger region, they also found that the demons in the entire area were scarce. In other areas, not speaking of source demons, they would detect a great demon at intervals. Even terrifying giant demons approaching the source demon level. Yet here, the demons rampant in this world had become rare. At least, according to the investigation results of the 3 eternal envoys, they only discovered some demon spirits which had recently been newly conceived and born. Could something major have happened in this area? The silver-eyed middle-aged man exchanged a glance with the other 2 eternal envoys, looking solemn. The absence of any significant demons in such a large area was not a good sign. With the power of the Qingyun Saint sect, it was impossible to accomplish this. Even if they could, they wouldn't do it. Unless the power was absolutely overwhelming, cleansing the entire area of demons would only attract more numerous and powerful demons closer. The demons between heaven and earth are endless. Even the eternal sect can only defend with difficulty. For other sect forces, the most effective method is to conceal themselves completely, rather than direct confrontation. Because they simply can't fight them all. Demons don't die, even if their bodies are obliterated, they will be reborn elsewhere. The communication symbol of Qingyun Saint sect has not been destroyed, nor is it in motion, and hasn't been tainted by demonic qi. The silver-eyed middle-aged man slightly stirred his thoughts, manifesting a green symbol before him and feeling it carefully. The communication symbols bestowed upon various holy sects by the eternal sect possess not only transmission and positioning capabilities, but can also simply perceive the surrounding environment. At least so far, the communication symbol of Qingyun Saint sect hasn't suffered any damage or impact. What do we do now? The female eternal envoy asked. The scarcity of demons in this area was making them uneasy. I will take another look. With a turn of his right hand, the silver-eyed middle-aged man conjured yet another symbol. This symbol appeared purple, and as it floated, a hidden surge dispersed in all directions. There are no overly powerful demons in the surrounding area. A moment later, the silver-eyed middle-aged man retracted the purple symbol, frowning. The lack of demon presence on a wide scale might indicate the birth of a more powerful demon in this area. While demons lack thoughts, they possess instincts to retreat when confronted with a more powerful demon. However, upon investigating with a special symbol, the silver-eyed man did not detect any trace or aura of a powerful demon. Strange, very strange. The 3 eternal envoys exchanged looks. Even in the center of the world, it was rare to encounter such a situation. An entire region devoid of demons and no trace of a more powerful demon. Of course, this was based on the premise that Qingyun Saint sect did not have the capability to sweep the surroundings. And even if they had the ability, there would be no need for such sweeping. Should we still go to Qingyun Saint sect? The male eternal envoy couldn't help but ask. We are here, carrying the will of the great eternal Lord. The silver-eyed middle-aged man surveyed the surroundings. If Qingyun Saint sect were destroyed, naturally there would be no need to go. But from the situation detected by the communication symbol, Qingyun Saint sect is still there. This suggests they still have to go. Indeed, the female eternal envoy nodded. Now, in the center of the world, the forces of numerous eternal sects are struggling against the source demons. A great number of powerful beings have fallen. It must be known. The powerful ones who fall to the source demons have their minds and wills eroded. Their means of retaining life would fail, leading to complete demise. Thus, the current eternal sect urgently needs fresh blood, and part of that blood relies on the many holy sects and supreme saint sects still carrying on the legacy. Although the holy sect and supreme saint sect are quite unwilling about this, they do not dare refuse. The reason the holy and supreme saint sect can still persist under the demonic disaster is because the forces of eternal sect have been holding back the most powerful demons. If the eternal sect forces cannot hold on, other holy sects and supreme saint sects would be quickly breached by demons as well. The eternal sect forces holding down the line gives the holy and supreme saint sect hope to continue their legacy. Let's go. But be cautious. Gathering his thoughts, the silver-eyed man continued onward toward the location of Qingyun Saint sect. However, compared to before their arrival, the silver-eyed man was much more cautious now. Given their strength, they could rampage through this area without concern. But the disappearance of a large number of demons made the three eternal envoys highly vigilant. Time passed. 1 or 2 years later, the three eternal envoys finally arrived near the Qingyun Sacred Mountain. That's where the Qingyun Saint sect is located. The man with silver eyes looked at a gray peak in the distance. Through the contact runes, he sensed and confirmed that it was the Qingyun Sacred Mountain. Seems all right. The two eternal envoys behind him carefully observed for a while and slightly relaxed. With their strength, they could naturally see the runes operating all over the gray peak. This meant that cultivators were stationed inside. If it were broken by demons, it would be a ruin. But we can't be careless. The man with silver eyes did not act rashly. Why is the Qingyun Saint sect still here when so many demons have disappeared in this area? Indeed, the other two eternal envoys nodded with solemn expressions. The more normal the Qingyun Sacred Mountain appeared, the more abnormal it seemed to them. I will first send an avatar to sneak into Qingyun Sacred Mountain and investigate. Only after confirming there's no issue will I inform the sect master of the holy sect. The man with silver eyes was cautious and didn't plan to have the holy sect's sect master come out to greet them immediately. He wanted to see what allowed the Qingyun Saint sect to stand in this area. The two eternal envoys behind him nodded. This was the safest approach. If the Qingyun Saint sect had no issues, then they were just overthinking with no loss incurred. But if some earth-shattering change occurred, this action could save lives. The three eternal envoys came with a mission and absolutely couldn't afford any mishaps here. With the combat strength of the three realms, and with all three present, losing them would still be quite a loss for the eternal sect. Especially since the three eternal envoys had already visited some holy sect supreme sect, carrying with them seedlings of the holy sect supreme sect's powerful individuals. The man with silver eyes had a brief thought. He split a portion of his aura, forming a figure which was an avatar. The avatar resembled the man with silver eyes in appearance, but had a much weaker aura, making it easier to conceal. The avatar of the man with silver eyes stepped in. His figure vanished, and his aura merged into the Qingyun Sacred Mountain. As an eternal envoy, he had visited Qingyun Saint sect many times, and the rune defensive array of Qingyun Sacred Mountain was sourced from the eternal sect. Under these circumstances, the man with silver eyes had an unparalleled understanding of the rune defensive array, so he could easily infiltrate Qingyun Sacred Mountain's interior. The sect's defensive array before and after the change of heaven and earth was completely different. After the change, the sect's defensive array was more inclined to suppress aura and isolate demonic qi, which was the result of assistance from the eternal sect at the center of the world. Following the familiar oscillation of the rune defensive array, the man with silver eyes smoothly reached the interior of the sacred mountain. The disciples of the holy sect continued their cultivation in an orderly manner, with elders fulfilling their duties. The man with silver eyes observed for a while but didn't find anything. Sect master of the holy sect? The man with silver eyes arrived at the highest hall of the sacred mountain and saw the sect master of the holy sect in closed-door cultivation. The sect master of Qingyun Saint sect was only a 6th realm longevity expert, while the man with silver eyes was still in the 3rd realm. With such a huge disparity in strength, even if he was just an avatar, the sect master couldn't detect him. I have basically scouted the entire Qingyun Sacred Mountain. The man with silver eyes stepped out of the hall and looked down. Except for that place. The man with silver eyes turned his gaze to Qingyun Institute, where he vaguely perceived a void through his own senses. He didn't sense anything there. Rather, he couldn't sense the time and space deep within Qingyun Institute at all. Let's go take a look. The man with silver eyes hesitated briefly before deciding to investigate. At this moment, he was merely an avatar, so even if he encountered an irresistible danger, he would only lose an avatar at most. Thinking of this, the man with silver eyes stepped to the entrance of Qingyun Institute. Deep within Qingyun Institute, Lin Yuan surveyed the silver-eyed man who had wandered around Qingyun's sacred mountain. In fact, Lin Yuan had already noticed when the three eternal envoys approached Qingyun's sacred mountain. After all, through the contact runes, Lin Yuan was well aware of the whereabouts and locations of the three eternal envoys. From when the three eternal envoys stopped not far from Qingyun's sacred mountain, to when they deliberately sent an avatar to sneak in until now, they were all under Lin Yuan's watch. Quite vigilant. Let's meet them. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly and flipped his right hand. At the entrance of Qingyun Institute, the man with silver eyes was still considering how to enter. Then he noticed the changing of time and space around him, finding himself silently shifted to another spatial position. Before the man with silver eyes could react, outside Qingyun's sacred mountain, the real body of the man with silver eyes, alongside the other two eternal envoys, suddenly felt space collapse, as if the space itself was captured. Where is this? The real body of the man with silver eyes and the other two eternal envoys looked around, their scalps tingling with shock. Chapter 1290. Is this enough? The grand hall at the peak of Qingyun's sacred mountain. The sect master of the holy sect was in seclusion cultivating, while also constantly observing the situation beyond the sacred mountain. Lin Yuan had told him that the eternal envoy would arrive soon. The sect master of the holy sect naturally had absolute faith in Lin Yuan's words. Hence, he was already prepared to welcome the eternal envoy at any moment. Although under Lin Yuan's protection, the sect master of the holy sect no longer placed much importance on the aid of the eternal envoy. Behind the eternal envoy stood the power of the eternal sect, which is composed of the eternal Lord. It was not to be underestimated. I wonder what the elder wishes to discuss with the eternal envoy? The sect master of the holy sect was quite curious. Lin Yuan had instructed him to inform him once the eternal envoy arrived. This meant that Lin Yuan wished to engage in a dialogue with the eternal envoy. Let's wait then. The sect master of the holy sect gazed toward the center of the heavens, patiently awaiting the arrival of the eternal envoy. What the sect master of the holy sect didn't know was that the eternal envoy he awaited had already been swept away by Lin Yuan without the slightest struggle. The eternal envoys, who could intimidate numerous holy sects and the supreme saint sect, seemed like ants before Lin Yuan. Deep within the Qingyun Institute, the silver-eyed man and the three eternal envoys were like facing a formidable foe, watching Lin Yuan seated cross-legged not far away. The true forms of the three eternal envoys outside the Qingyun sacred mountain were easily swept here without resistance. This made the silver-eyed man realize that the young man before him was far beyond what he could handle. As a powerful cultivator of the third realm of freedom, even if he wasn't a match for the eternal sun, shouldn't he be this vulnerable? Lin Yuan felt to them like a source demon. If not for the complete absence of demonic qi emanating from him, the three eternal envoys might really have believed they were facing an extremely formidable source demon. The source demon is a being second only to a demon god, and among source demons, there are varying levels of strength, with the most powerful being capable of shaking the foundations of the eternal sect. May I ask what you intend to do? After a moment, the silver-eyed man spoke with bravado. Through a brief standoff, he had reached some conclusions. For instance, the young man before them likely harbored no deadly intent towards them. Otherwise, since he could sweep them up with one hand, he could also extinguish them with the same ease. Thus, the silver-eyed man's tone was very humble, lacking any airs of an eternal envoy. I wish to make a transaction with your major eternal sects, Lin Yuan said with a smile. He had long wanted to contact the eternal sect. It's just that, with the demon god stationed at the center of the heavens, he had refrained from getting too close. Now that the eternal envoy had approached on his own, Lin Yuan decided to take the opportunity to negotiate. A transaction with the sect? The silver-eyed man looked at Lin Yuan. To directly propose a transaction with the eternal sect was incredibly audacious. What kind of entity is the eternal sect? Even during the current era of the demon calamity, it remains supreme, having measures left by various eternal lords to restrain the most powerful demon god. Yet remembering how Lin Yuan had just transported them to this place, the silver-eyed man dared not say much. What kind of transaction? The silver-eyed man asked with a deep voice. I want all the symbolic legacies of the Eternal Sect, including those established by the Eternal Lords, as well as all information and intelligence concerning demons, especially about that demon god. Lin Yuan stated directly. So far, he obtained only the symbolic legacies left by 2 Eternal Lords. To be precise, just 1. Regarding the symbolic legacy left by the Lord of Heaven Light, he had acquired only 1 type. He had obtained the entire legacy left by the Master of Wushan, but precisely because of this, Lin Yuan craved the symbolic legacies of the other Eternal Lords even more, especially that of the Lord of Heaven Light. The understanding this Eternal Lord had of runes was astounding even to Lin Yuan. He wished to comprehend more. All symbolic legacies? The silver-eyed man took a deep breath. After the demon calamity descended, each major Eternal Sect had already relaxed their own access to symbolic legacies. Even so, ordinary disciples had to pay a price to comprehend profound symbolic legacies. Particularly, the core symbolic legacies of the Eternal Sect could only be comprehended by the Eternal Sun. Yet Lin Yuan outright demanded all symbolic legacies. I can't make that decision, the silver-eyed man immediately said. The 2 eternal envoys behind him also nodded. They were only eternal envoys, not even the Eternal Sun, and couldn't represent the Eternal Sect behind them. I understand. Lin Yuan looked at the 3 eternal envoys, his tone calm. So now, you should directly contact the sect master and have him negotiate with me. Upon saying this, the silver-eyed man's face was filled with astonishment. To directly contact the sect master, he indeed could do that, but how did Lin Yuan know? He was unaware that after thoroughly refining the Azure communication rune, Lin Yuan possessed supreme authority, equivalent to an Eternal Lord, familiar with all the uses and functions of such communication runes. Among these was contacting the sect master. Had it not been for the concern that directly contacting might cause some fright, Lin Yuan would have directly contacted the sect master of the Eternal Sect himself. Okay. After hesitating for a while, the silver-eyed man nodded and said, Lin Yuan's power was beyond imagination, nearly matching the oppressive aura of a source demon. Such a powerful cultivator indeed warranted reporting to the sect master. After a brief pause, the silver-eyed man took out the Azure rune. Stretching out his hand, he activated it. Instantly, the Azure rune quivered slightly. Countless tiny runes within swiftly spun around, and following some invisible resonance, shot toward the center of the heavens in an instant.